Lift off. Let's hope you're all in sparkling form out there. Why, it's Diamond Day here on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, thrilled to be back in the seat with you for another Saturday afternoon's fun. All the best race time reaction, real-time analysis in the business with Betfair, our sponsors, along the way. You're going to be learning everything about the sportsbook, loads of tips on the exchange as well. The liquidity for the King George, our final race today, 3:35, is already going through the roof. 6 runners, but it's an absolute belter. Is it still the jewel in the British racing crown? Let us know your thoughts. This is an interactive show. Like and subscribe with a thumbs up. That's how you get involved in the chat as well. What a day we have ahead for you. 7 races. Why? Because we pop up to what some people call the Ascot of the North at York. 3 races coming there. Jump jockeys over 5 furlongs. My Lord, what can possibly go wrong? Thankfully, we'll be finding you some winners along the way. And we're all in unison for the big one. I wonder who that could be. Let's go down the panel for a second Saturday in the row. Kate Tracey comes in and joins me. How is your radar?
Radar for today?
Yeah.
Better than last week, I'm hoping, because last week was a disaster.
I've seen your tips. You kept it simple.
Yeah, I've kept it pretty straightforward. Played most races with a straight bat. But apart from the handicaps, I've got some bigger price selections that I've written up in my Betfair column this week. So fingers crossed for those to land.
It's a brilliant day today, Kate, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, completely. And like you say, much debate about the King George. Of course, smaller field size, but we're used to that nowadays. But the quality we have, I mean, the only 2 horses that are missing it, Hookham and Desert Crown. Really, what else would you fancy in that race that could actually throw the hat into the ring?
Yeah,
so,
I know.
Yeah, can't wait.
We haven't got too many worldies at the moment. Of course, no Godolphin runner. All right, now we're going to throw it up a little bit. We've got 20 minutes until the first at 1:50. And I'm thrilled to say a familiar face to many of you joins us on the panel. Head of Sport Content. Now, I asked Mark Langdon what your title was, because we didn't want to offend old Brucey, did we?
Well,
who is the Global Sports Director. But you are
yeah.
sort of head of sport, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly in terms of the big kick-off that we've got coming out on Monday, that is something that I treat it sort of more kindly and carefully than the children. Actually, it's it's something that I have to nurture. Really have to nurture over the summer months.
Yeah, listen. Basically, you're talking to the Grand Wizard of football tipping. Basically, we've got Graeme Rodway joining us on the panel as well.
Yeah, I'm back, Dave. Yeah,
The Grand Wizard of the Bear Society.
The Grand Wizard of RP Live.
Well, absolutely. You're pressing the buttons for Barry today.
I actually think that trophy should start over here.
This is a tipping trophy. If you're new to the show, we try and covet this trophy, basically. We'll get a word with Mark in just a second, because we've got the Lionesses, of course, out at the moment. Aren't they doing well, the English women at the moment? Semi-final on Tuesday, all the way to the final, please. Championship football starts next Saturday. The Prem, a couple of, 2 weeks now away as well, isn't it? We've got a World Cup to talk about. Well, let's get some tips out of Mark, and we've got the big kick-off coming. But we must go zoom into Dublin. Barry Orr joins us again.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and Kate. How are we all?
We're absolutely fine.
On the panel there.
That's great. And you and Mark know each other, of course. You've probably had many a jolly before together, haven't you?
Been to a few stadiums across Europe in our time, myself and Mark. Yeah, imbibing and watching football in equal measures.
Yes, indeed. We'll leave it there, I think, on that one. Now, you're not usually in on a Saturday, of course. You're usually in hospitality on some ground somewhere. But this is the off-season. Let's have a look at the front page, because on Monday, the Ultimate Football Guide comes out, guys. Can we see that?
Camera to go to for that?
That's the front page. Give it over here, Mark. Give it over here.
Look,
I've got this, don't worry, this is why I'm here. Look at this. This is going to be unmissable. And you're doing a preview show in the studio as well on Monday.
Absolutely, on Monday. So if you prefer to sort of watch it on YouTube rather than read the 80 pages, you can do that. I prefer it if you did both, but we've got everything for everyone.
This is something that we are genuinely really proud of. I'm looking at who's on there, because let's actually get up some prices for the Prem, shall we, Mark, at the moment, because obviously it's Man City's to lose, we think. And I want to ask you first and foremost, how do you go about not tipping Man City? Or how do you go? It's like Djokovic at Wimbledon, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the key question is, are you a backer or a layer of Manchester City? For me, I think that's one of the real questions that we've got in the Racing Post jury. In the big kick-off, we've asked all of our top tipsters, would you rather back City or would you rather lay them? And I think that there's a fair spread of people saying yes to lay and no, they're absolute certainty type lines, really.
Yeah, okay, look, we all love our football out there. So look, let's, while we've got Mark for the next couple of minutes, let's zoom in. G, can you get the sportsbook prices up? For the Prem on the screen. Oh, okay. Apparently we can't show it at the moment. But what price on the sportsbook, Barry, are Man City at the moment?
On the exchange, they're 1.73, and that's probably a better reflection of their actual price, because obviously on the exchange there's no built-in margin there, and it's just customer against customer. There's 500,000 matched on the Betfair Exchange on the outright betting. 1.73 Man City, Liverpool 4.2, and it's 15 bar. So that just gives you an indication of how the market thinks this is going to play out. It's going to be a replica from last season.
I saw that Harry Kane was on the front page there. Barry's a Spurs supporter. Let's go down the line. Kate, you are Liverpool. Is there any chance that those two clubs can hustle up City?
Well, I mean, Liverpool only just missed out last season and have pushed City as close as anyone possibly could, most years. The only time they really fell away is when they had a lot of injuries defensively, and they still managed to finish in the top four. That being said, I don't think Liverpool will be any stronger this year. They've lost Mane, they've brought in Núñez, they've tried to freshen it up. I don't see them being any better. And you could argue City with Haaland, it maybe takes them up another level.
It reminds me of a Thierry Henry signing, or like, all the great Van Nistelrooy. This is a proper striker coming to the Prem, isn't it?
Oh, it absolutely is. But if you fancy him for the Golden Boot, I've got a good stat for you.
Go on.
No foreign player has ever won the Premier League Golden Boot in their debut season.
So this is a lay.
And we've got a 3-1 favourite that really doesn't fit, the kind of positive trends. I think he'll score a reasonable amount of goals, but there is some question mark as how he fits in with Pep Guardiola's system. Guardiola's not somebody that loves strikers, it has to be said. He likes his midfielders, but if Haaland stays fit, he's probably good for 20 goals.
And he's going to be saying, this is what you're missing out, Harry Kane, isn't he? Of course, this time last year we were expecting Harry to go there. OK, well, we could talk to Mark about this literally all day. We've got 10 minutes till our first race at Ascot. Mark, let's tease a little bit, because the impact on the Premiership this year is totally turned on its head because we've got a Winter World Cup.
Absolutely. There's a 1 week period between the Premier League and the World Cup, and then 8 days between the World Cup finishing and the Premier League restarting. So, you are going to need a big squad. That's where I think City and Liverpool are really strong. Salah's not going to the World Cup. Haaland's not going to the World Cup. So they'll even have a month off. We've got Harry Kane on the front, a season of 2 halves. He's got to, play for Tottenham both parts of that and be the England World Cup captain in the middle of it. So a busy period for him.
You've got a hammer sitting next to you. Well, we think he's a hammer. You never know with G-Rob which club he's going to... sometimes he likes a bit of Liverpool, believe it or not. But you've got a hammer sitting next to you. They've just made a big signing. They look like they were one of the dark horses last year, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. I mean, they're a little bit unlucky not to sort of push on for Champions League. Just missed out in terms of, winning the Europa League. Got to the semi-finals. Scamacca, the Italian international, looks like he's on his way. I was joking with G-Rod before, though. He's quite excited about the signing, but I said, well, why is nobody outside of West Ham wanting him?
Because he's useless.
No.
He's got attitude problems like you.
This reminds me of when the old Kevin Pauline quote, wasn't it? Just because you're standing on your own don't mean you're in the wrong place, Lango. David Moyes knows what he's doing.
He seemingly does, doesn't he? All right, let's switch it to the Championship. I'm unfortunately relegated to there with Watford. Watford-Norwich, isn't it? Burnley, of course, went down. Norwich just about holding sway at the moment?
They are the favourites. I mean, Dean Smith knows what he's doing in terms of that level. There's a slight question mark, I suppose, with Watford. How many players will they lose between now and the end of the transfer window?
It's going to happen literally on the last day of the transfer
You'll
market.
know more than me. Got a young manager. I actually think that Burnley, double the price of the other two, could be of interest for me.
With a very interesting manager, of course.
Vincent Kompany, won the Premier League with Man City. He learnt his sort of trade at Anderlecht, and a decent opportunity for him.
It's the greatest league division in the world, the Championship, let me tell you.
That,
absolutely, I'm going to
spend enough time in there.
Don't worry about that. Lango, absolute pleasure to have you in. So just remind us, on Monday, unmissable pull-out.
Yeah, absolutely. Free inside the Racing Post on Monday, 80 pages.
80 pages, man.
Everything from the Premier League, top 6 leagues in England, 4 leagues in Scotland, 4 leagues in Europe, and even the Northern Irish Premiership.
Can you give us a winner? This is a curveball for you.
Well, if you want to, I think Leicester, top half finish, around about 10 to 11. Had a lot of injuries last year. Don't see them being any worse than that. They were top half last year.
Brendan Rodgers can hold on to that job then.
Hopefully.
All right. Absolutely brilliant to have Mark Langdon with us. Mark, we'll let you go and do your actual work now. Great stuff. Barry, over to you then. That was a pleasure, wasn't it? But let's concentrate on. We've got to get some business done. Starting off, of course, there it is. The 2-year-old race. It's the Princess Margaret. We've got a bit of a hot pot here.
Yeah, the Fillies race and Lazoo just touched off last day, 2.42. So nearly 6-4 on the Betfair Exchange, Lazoo. Glen Laurel, 8.2. 13 Pam Lily, 10.5 Breach. There's been money for that. The Chase Moore Farm bred filly. Kinta 11.5, Mini Tonka 11.5. I backed her last day, if you recall, Dave, in that Lazoo race. Royal Charter's the filly I like in it, and she's been absolutely friendless in the market for Tom Marquand and William Haggis. She won a new Market July course, Maiden's filly under a hands and heels ride. Any of these fillies could take a big step forward. It looks like a real stiff 6 furlongs on good to firm ground is what she wants before she'll probably step up and trip. So what we're going to do, please, here, G-Rod, we're going to back win and place. The Royal Charter, we're going to have 25 quid win, currently trading at 18.5. Happy to be a backer there, a price taker. And then in the 3-place market, it's currently trading at 4.4, which is 7-2. We're going to have 25 there. That's done. We're going to do our lucky 15.
Let's get that on now, absolutely. That pesky Mark Langdon has put us on the back foot, hasn't it? Everyone wants to know about the Lucky 15. We've had a bit of fun in the chat. Today's the day. The L15 is on the move.
Yeah, let's do this. Right, so it's a £1 each way lucky 15. It's going to cost us 30 quid. Money goes to charity. I think it's, did we say retraining of racehorses? Or was it Greatwood? Was it one of those charities? Anyway, we'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Each way lucky 15. The first leg, the 150 Royal Charter. I'm going to stick with that. In the 3 o'clock then, it's Star of Orion. That's 6 places to each way punters on the Betfair Sportsbook. Then over to York. International Dream in the 205, again 6 places to each way punters, and the 240 in York we're going to go with Atomic Lady. It's 4 places to each way punters on the sports book there, so we're going to do it for a quid each way. Costs us 30 quid, 6 doubles, 4 trebles, 4 singles, and an accumulator. It's 15 bets. If we were doing it just to win for a quid, it costs 15 quid. Because we're doing it each way, it's costing us 30 quid. So unrivaled multis, obviously, on the Betfair Sportsbook, and we're getting 3 additional place races there as well. So fingers crossed for the charity.
Mother of pearl. Okay, that is an absolute steamer.
What's it come to?
What does it come to, G-Rod?
I have no idea. Can't seem to find it.
I'll tell you what, while he's working, it's going to be
on the bet slip, G-Rod.
Yeah. Hang on, his Wilder's back in the studio. No, right, so Barry, here's something else just before we get to it as well. So Barry's taken on the favourite for you out there in the Princess Margaret. We'll find out what Kate and G and myself like in it as well. Just after we talk about... Now, there is a trend developing, and unfortunately, Dermot Well does not have anything entered in the first race at Galway, which has made me a little tear go down my face, Barry, when I saw the decks. He usually wins the first race. But we have a new system here on Racing Post Live, and it's back, Betfair Barry in the last. You're on a 4-timer, man. Who are we lengthening the odds with in the King George?
Yeah, well, the King George, I have to stick with Westover. He's the 3-year-old colt. He was so impressive in the Irish Derby. I think Broome's going to go off and set good fractions. And if he does, I can see Colin Keane setting sail for home very early in the straight and really making it a test of stamina against the older horses that might have a better turn of foot. Mishriff, you have to respect there. But what we're going to do, G-Rod, we're going to go to the race. Obviously, it's on the sports book. We're going to go to Ascot. It's the 3:35 in Ascot. It's the feature race. And just at lengthen your odds, Westover currently 13-8. If you click on lengthen your odds, Westover to win by a length or more is 7-4. By 2 lengths or more is 7-2. I'm going to be a little bit greedy here. We're going to have 50 quid on. Lengthen your odds, 7-2 Westover to win by 2 lengths or more. So to win the race and win by 2 lengths or over, and we get paid 7-2 to our 50 quid. So lengthen your odds. It's a new feature on the Betfair Sportsbook, and it's massively popular with our customers, especially where there's a short price favourite. It's available every race, every day. So watch out for it. It's really, really popular.
Yeah, we've got Goodwood coming up, Galway as well, absolutely. And Barry is on a 4-timer. All right. So
has G-Rod got the lucky 15 on?
No, I can't seem to get it on here. There seems to be a problem with it. I'll get back to you, Barry, when it's working.
The Racing Post. Absolute disgrace.
Getting back to me after 150 and Royal Charter.
She's a right old price, this Royal Charter, Barry.
She really is. She's so friendless in the market, and it's something I am nervous about because the Haggis firm, when the money's down, they never miss. We saw her in June, so I don't know whether she was held up in her work or something happened with her, or maybe they just don't think she's got that much ability. But I was just really impressed with what she did on the July course under a hands and heels ride, and she looked like a filly to me that's going to improve massively, like any of these could, really.
Yeah, I've backed a couple in here, Barry. I'm against the favourite, Lazoo. She probably should have won, shouldn't she? On the July course. But this is a fourth run in fairly quick succession. And how hard a race did she have there? I'm not sure. Was it a great renewal of that race as well? The once raced Glen Laurel I've got on top. I had Royal Charter as well, Barry. I have had a little bit on it. She was a big price when she won at Newbury on her debut, which suggests that maybe she doesn't show that much at home. Tom Marquardt on with the ride. She'll be coming late, and that form looks pretty solid to me. Rafe Beckett, of course, got 2 in the race. He's got the favourite. He's got Palm Lily as well. Once raced maiden winners or novice winners, as we now know, have done it twice in the past decade. It's not that easy to do. But Glen Laurel spoke to Kevin Stott, who rode this on its debut, said, we've got a good one. This is it. She's quite easy to back. Inexperience might count against her, but she'll love the rising finish. This wouldn't be a strong race for me. I love this race, and we usually see a very good filly. I just think that the Zoo stinks at 11-8. Unlike...
Do you think?
Do you fancy it, don't you?
Yeah, really fancy her.
That's what I mean.
I think she's a great price here, to be honest.
You're the yin to my yang with Lazoo.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game of opinion, isn't it? Yeah, I think she's a cracking price here. She sets a very high standard for the others to come to have to meet as well. And yes, she's had the more opportunity to showcase her ability. But the fact that she's managed to win her first 2 starts, including that listed race where she overturned the reopposing Minnetonka. Admittedly, Minnetonka did not handle the Newmarket track there whatsoever, so is entitled to then come forwards from that. But last time out, she should have won. She really should have won. If stewarding was sort of up to any sort of consistency in this country, then she should have been a Group 2 winner already coming into this race. Coming into this race on the back of a win or running in the Duchess of Cambridge is a notable positive. If you back horses that even ran in the race last time out blind, you'll be making a profit. Favourites have a very good record in this race. Makes sense because they've had the chance to actually show their hand, unlike plenty of these unexposed types. But a very high standard that she sets for me in this race.
It used to be a favourites race, I'll give you that. Looking down when Maureen, who remembers that, for Richard Hannon Senior won, I think 4 of the next 5 won. There have been some turn-ups since, under the stars. A couple of years ago, Zane Claudette last year. You're taking on the fab, you're with me.
Yeah, I'm with you, yeah, sadly. Yeah, Glen Laurel. I thought that she was very impressive at first time out, did some good sectionals there, was quite impressed with the way she went through the line. This is obviously a huge step up in grade here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But she only had 1 run, and I think she's got potential for loads of improvement. I do respect Lazoo. Obviously, I thought she was Group 1 filly after
everything
she
else
won
has got to raise its game to beat them quite considerably.
Yeah, I mean, she's the right favourite.
What price did you think she'd be?
I thought that she's a bit short now. I thought she'd be about 7-4.
Even on one of your madman tissues.
Yeah. The lucky is on now. Yeah. Anyway, Barry, we're on for 74,000 if that lucky 15 comes in.
All right.
So that'll do. That'll do nicely, won't it? If that comes in, but. Yeah, no, I'm hoping that Glen Laurel can upset the apple cart here a little bit with Lazoo. I thought she should have got the race last time, but I am pocket talking.
As a panel, we're going through the card today. I'm feeling it. It's great to have you out there watching. If you just joined us, had a bit of fun with Mark Langdon, the big kickoff out on Monday. If you're footy fans, it's unmissable stuff. But now we hone in on this special day's racing. The King George 6 runners. We've got an Art winner. Of course, we've got an international winner. We've got an Irish Derby winner. We've got probably should have had an Oaks winner, shouldn't we? It is fantastic. Coronation Cup winner. Cannot wait for that. 3:35. But now we might just see a new star of the future. The fillies turn to shine. We've got another fillies race coming up. 2:25.
Talking of like backing and laying, would you rather be a backer or a layer here of Lazoo? Obviously, you'd be a layer.
Backer.
We've
got one backer. We've got one backer. One backer, 3 layers.
Yes.
Here we go.
I'm not phased.
Just because you're standing in the wrong place or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Minnetonka could be a different proposition.
She could.
Gets to the front.
She could, yeah. She's been supported a bit, Barry, hasn't she, Minnetonka?
For her, yeah.
Yeah.
She just didn't handle Newmarket.
Just up and downs of Newmarket.
Yeah, on the July course there.
To the front, she led. She was very prominent that the day she won first time up in Salisbury, but she never got to the front. She was ridden very differently last time.
With Omni Queen's the only horse here with any sort of Ascot form to her name, which is a bit strange coming into this race when you think about it, isn't it?
It's a race that fillies who didn't take in White Ascot don't usually come to, funnily enough. But we are in the gates. First race of 7 then on RP Live. We're waiting for Glen Laurel to go in for the Ryan team. Come on in then, darling. Come on. She's literally just had one run. She's having a good think about it, isn't she?
This could be another Halla off Marnie moment.
This is what I know. We Halla. We're back to the drawing board with Halla, aren't we? But the Ryan 2-year-olds are about to take off. And like I said, Kevin Stott, this gave an absolutely beautiful feel. Surprised she's so weak in the betting. I mean, this is basically 11-8 bar, isn't it? So if you're on Lazoo, Hide behind the sofa. Listen to us if you haven't got the pictures, and away we go. How's she broken? Frankie usually likes to give her a bit of time. Now, stiff finish should really play into her hands. Up front, however, it is the aforementioned Royal Ascot filly, Omni Queen, Ramo Racing, who's taking him out under Ross O'Ryan. Absolute one of the top jockeys out there a minute. We're all right, aren't we, Graeme? We've got a nice little posse.
Yeah, nice in second. A little bit keen, but seems to have settled down now. Lizou right on the outside the field, Frankie, isn't he?
Yeah, she's settled fine, I think, isn't she? Unlike Kinter out the back. Palm Lily, the Beckett's second string, we think, is there. Breeze today, Tom Siegel put up in his price-wise column. Having a magnificent year. Lizou's going well at the moment. Barry, let's come to you with 3 furlongs to run.
Yeah, Mini Tonka getting a very different ride today. Currently trades at 6.4. Odds on your favourite Lizou at 1.61 now. And Kinta is 6.4.
Yeah, okay. Inexperience, you can see coming to the fold.
Lizou's away, is she?
Kate Tracey's feeling this. This is massive for
Here
Frankie.
comes Kinta.
Back at Ascot. Looks like Kinta might be the danger if there is one. This is gone, is it? Very low on
Lizou's
the
gone, I
exchange.
think.
101's up. She's got the job done by the
Keep going, Philly.
Rafe Beckett said she thrives
Keep
on her
going, Philly.
racing. If you took the hot favourite in the first, all of a sudden, 11-8 looking like a lovely price. And Kate Tracey is over the moon.
Yeah.
Us buffoons
5
looked
to
against
4 winner. We'll
Look
take
at that. Well, after the week you had last week, you always get bounced back.
We all take that.
Just because you're standing on your own don't mean you're in the wrong place. That's it.
I'll tell you what,
Frankie and I
that
bounce
was all
back
very
ability.
straightforward, wasn't it? And I imagine, Barry, let's come to you for the story of the market. Calm it down a little bit. We've seen her pretty much run to form there, I would imagine. They knew, what, a furlong out?
Yeah, even more, 1.64 when you came to me, and then it was 5-2 on within a matter of seconds. Kinta hit a low at 2.2, so 5-4 against in running. That was it, really. The winner had a Betfair SP of just over even money at 2.19.
Everyone's saying that Westover was the worst result for the books today, but that would have been a pretty stinging one, Barry, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's favourite backers off to a good start for the 7 races today, the 7 terrestrial races. So that's always a bad sign for bookies, but wouldn't shed any tears just yet, Dave.
No, long way to go. The dream is still alive, and thanks to Kate, the panel are still in the pot, shall we say?
Can I actually have this for the first time then?
Oh, there we are. Here we go. Look,
Off and
she
running.
covets the golden crown.
About time it was in my possession.
Hold on to it, Kate.
With both hands.
And you know what it's like when Kate Tracey's hot. She's usually scorching. Yeah, okay. Of course, we've got the money back race coming up, Barry, haven't we? Is this in the Jockey's Nunthorpe?
The 225 in Ascot is the money back special race on the Betfair Sportsbook. Cashback is a free bet if your horse fails to play. So that's the 225 in Ascot.
That's the Zornak race.
Next race.
I mean, I'll tell you what, the books at Ascot will be starting to get a little bit worried because there is a strong favourite in the next, of course. We've got some really good handicaps for you as well, not just up at York, but we've got the International, a proper cavalry charge. I really like one in that at 3 o'clock. That's our precursor, appetiser, if you like, for the King George. Who wins the King George, guys? Let's get some socials flying in now. Order restore, but we've got to go up to York. There's your Betfair SP. What was it in the end, Barry? Just over evens, was it?
2.19, yeah, so nearly 5-4 against.
Really
6-5 industry SP.
Really strong, wasn't she? You'd think maybe, I mean, let's just have a quick word on her. She's 2 have come clear. Graeme, has she just run to form or is she still improving?
No, I think she's very good. Yeah, I thought she was very good going in that Newmarket race. But it was a muddling little sort of race, that Morge one, where Morge got a bit of an easy lead. Then it was a messy, wasn't it, in the last half furlong, a bit of bargy. And I just think that she's gone and shown how good she is. Her previous one, when she won at Empress Stakes, was very, very impressive time. Kinta, I think said yesterday, she's a very long striding filly, Kinta, which suggests she's got a lot of ability, and they've come nicely clear it out. I think it's good form, that, Dave.
Yeah, I think...
She's 6-10 for the Lauder.
I was going to say Lauder.
Lauder. Okay, so that looks like the national progression. If you're wondering what that is, that's at York during Ebor week, which brings us beautifully to the Knaves Mile. Let's move on, guys. We've got Sam and Dave in the studio today doing the graphics for us. We've got Jack Reeve, a Norwich fan, doing the socials for us as well. Me and Jackie will be locking horns. Let's hear from you out there, though. Let us know where you're watching. Let us know how your day's going. How's the flat season going? Who's the star of it so far? Who is going to win the King George? Westover a lay or a play with Emily up, John? Or are you going to go with one of the older brigade? Let's build it up. Want to hear from you out there today. Loads of people watching. Can't wait. Right. Barry Orr, my goodness gracious me. We've gone from a hot pot to a what on earth wins this market?
Yeah, it's a good novelty race, this, isn't it? The Jump Jockeys Nunthorpe, as it's called. Valde Pervez for Tom Scudamore, 6.6. I'd buy Gum. That's the springer in the market. Into 8 now for champion jockey Brian Hughes. Expect that to be off in front. Primo Comma is 13. 12 Stone Circle for Harry Cobham. The Greatest Showman, Jack Quinlan, 19. The horse I like in it is International Dream. But I'm going to back it on the sportsbook, please, G-Rod, where we're getting 6 places each way and we're going to have 25 quid each way. It was third in the Malcolm as a 2-year-old, this horse. This is his first time over 5 furlongs since last May when he was 7th, beaten 14 lengths by Winter Power in the Westro Stakes over course and distance here in York. Campaigned over trips between 6 furlongs and a mile recently. He's down to a mark of 76 now versus a high of 97. So it's an eminently workable mark. It's first-time visor, and James Bowen is an extra bonus for me. So just at the price and to take advantage of the 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook, International Dream, 25 quid each way with James Bowen in play.
First-time visor, of course, from stall 13. Lots said about the draw of both of our
I'm
courses.
not going down that rabbit hole with the draw.
Yeah,
I'm not going down that rabbit hole. You're not taking us down there.
Mel Rose did a piece, didn't he, yesterday? Did you see it? For his analysis in the paper, basically suggesting that in both the sprint races we're covering today, you ought to be high.
Right.
But low, it has been the way recently in recent years, isn't it? It tends to be with the paces, guys, doesn't it? And you might go off in front in your tip?
Yes, I think so, because I don't know if Tom Skew's going to be able to hold him.
Well, you've got the right jockey on,
I do,
seemingly.
yeah. For this race, I like it. It divides opinion. It is a bit of a novelty. The jump jockey's Nunthorpe, and we've only had the 4 renewals of it. Tom Skew has won 2 of those, and he rides Val de Travers here. Now, I actually have a lovely memory of Val de Travers. I was at based at Danny Brooks' yard, then where he was previously based last year. We had a party the night before, and I was sent out in my pyjamas the next morning at like 6 a.m. to go and get him off the walker. I was that hanging. I could not see him on the walker. Said, "There's no horse on the walker. What are you talking about?" Went back in. Poor horse was stood there for 20 minutes. I could see that treble that I couldn't even see the poor horse. Probably why I didn't get on so well at the yard then. I had to go and find my way out and lead him off.
He has moved to the Appleby yard now.
He has, and he's had a great time of it. He won on his stable debut when he was well backed, and I just thought he was a bit of a monkey when he was based with the Brookyard. And I sort of thought, well, it might just be a novelty. It'll probably wear off. It hasn't. He's managed to win twice subsequently. Last time out, beating Sound of Iona, who has won 3 times since then. The only issue or the only slight fear I have, Mick Appleby hoodoo of when his horses win next time out is the time not to side with them historically. They don't tend to back up their wins.
It's funny that you're right. If you see an Appleby horse with a 1 and a 4 next to it, you never mind backing it again because they do tend to be a bit Oxo-like, don't they?
Yeah, very Oxo horses. So that's my only fear. But I still think Tom Skew in this race is going to blast from the front, stall 16. Hopefully they won't see which way he goes.
The Cornish cake came out again and
Oh
blast.
no, did I?
Who's going to blast home and beat her, G?
E-by Guns in here, actually.
That's another E-by.
There's another one. Oh no, that's Yorkshire. What
Very
am I talking
difficult, wasn't it? Very difficult, wasn't it?
about? Yeah.
I
Yeah, come on.
decided to throw in one of my swerves here, Dave.
Oh, you've sat it out. Bruce will be livid if he's on the panel.
Yeah, I don't actually fancy anything in this
Fair
race.
enough.
I have, however, been forced to have a go at we have a tipping competition.
Yes, we do.
Internal
In-house.
tipping in-house tipping competition, free to enter, and
Hence you're in it.
yeah, hence I'm in it, yeah. And John Cobb picks the races every week, and he happens to have picked the jump jockey's Nunthorpe. So I have gone for Stone Circle in the tipping competition, but I've not had a bet in it.
Fine.
What's that
All
say?
right, yes,
Sun and
we've got
Sunny.
someone. Do you want to read it out?
Yeah, it says Nick Schofield.
Who says it?
Oh, sorry. Jake Galloway says Nick Schofield to lift Sun and Sunny came close here last year, and this race and a decent run at Chepstow last time.
Yeah, for Nick Scove, who has sent us a message in actually about his chances today. Nick's close to a lot of people at the Post who did the first ever What a Shout. He's been in the studio and all that sort of stuff. He has, you might remember, done some clips for us before. Or was it Cheltenham? I can't remember where it was. We had a couple of clips. He was absolutely dreadful. It was Aintree. He was the most monotone, and he got loads of stick for it. It was brilliant. Sun and Sunny, 2 runs at York, finished second. And Scove reckons he's just going to sit and pounce.
Do you want to know a real positive about Sun and Sunny? Now, I can take absolutely no credit for this. This is Professor Mount, good friend of all of ours in the show. Now, interesting, four runnings of this race. 3 of the winners of it have previously carried 9 stone 10 to victory in a handicap. It makes sense when you think about it that you want to side with the horse that's used to carrying a heavy weight. These jump jockeys obviously weigh a lot more than the flat lads.
Like it.
You want a flat horse that's used to carrying a big weight then in these races. Sun and Sani ticks exactly that box then. He has carried 9 stone 10 to victory in a handicap previously, so he's used to carrying these big weights. Our minimum weight in this is 10 stone 7. Horses will not be used to carrying this weight. So thanks to Professor Mount then, Sun and Sani gives him a huge chance on that basis.
All right, then, Jake, welcome along to the party again, my man, and good luck. Nick Scove. Okay, for Archie Watson now, Sun and Sani, isn't it? Of course, been going around the houses a little bit. I like one here.
Ooh, like one.
Under price. And it is coming in, I think Barry might tell us as well. Secret in the Park, which is Rebecca Menzies, not the sort of horse you really associate with the yard, of course, loads of success over jumps, but Nathan Moscrop rides for the yard all the time, 11-10, the 12-year-old, won on his last visit to and this is the sort of race, guys, where I want to have a small stake at a big price, you know. I don't really want to be. I can see the Val de Travers thing. Tom Seagal also can see it as well. He says there is one horse at upside today, Tom, in his column. This is he. There's just so much pace on it. I think it will suit Secret in the Park, who will be up there. You want to usually be up there in sprints at York. Don't forget we've got the dash coming up at 2:40 as well. The Commander comes back on. Dal Jacob is my choice for the best flat jockey in this at 20-1. Just for giggles, Commander. Quite right as well, as we all look down to see who Jacob's on. What's he recently rode a winner at every single jumps track, didn't he? Cartmel. Once again, ring the bell. Cartmel gets a mention.
Yeah.
But he's on Indian Sound. Remarkable. They're not racing today, I don't think. No. Or maybe they are behind closed doors. I don't know. But drawn in 17, Commander, on Indian Sounds. I'm amazed that Indian Sounds hasn't won this season. I think a Pontifact or someone like that. I was like, right, he's going to get it. Disappointed me the next 2 times. Has fallen in the weight. It's a big weight as well from stall 17. Dale Jacobs quite sort of stylish jockey, isn't he?
Yeah, no, he definitely is. Yeah, and he wouldn't be sort of a short kind of jockey either who can just look neat because of that. No, he definitely is a very tidy jockey. So interesting angle into him. I mean, what is he, £2 lower than his last winning mark? But that was quite a while ago for him then. But yeah, I mean, when you're trying to side with the jockeys as much as anything else in this, you can see why Ebi Gum is being backed with Brian Hughes of his previous flat exploit.
Well, he the most stylish of them, I think we can agree, can't we? And if it wasn't for weight, I'm sure that he might be actually in the Nunthorpe itself, Brian. But the champion jockey for Kevin Ryan on Ebi Gum, a horse that's not usually running in races like this, usually finding slightly easier pickings. But from stall 14, watch for him to be one of the last off the bridle, so maybe one in running for you. Okay, so I'm trying to look down his York record as well. This is a course for horses, isn't it? Horse for courses.
Oh gosh, yeah, and I've no idea why. I still haven't figured out why York form.
I swear it's got
paramount.
something to do with the big walk up. I think it has. I think that
across the track.
Apparently that's why Gosden loves the Musidora so much for his buzzier fillies. They just have to take it all in and they have to learn pre-epsom and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot to be said. If you don't know, they have to walk nearly a mile to the track, don't they? Batarshit used to freak out, didn't it, famously? I don't know. There's something about York. It's very different, the preliminaries and stuff, and I wonder if that's what it is. Because ultimately, it should be a very fair track. But trying to work out York, it's one of the biggest red herrings out there. You think you've got it nailed, a little bit like the draw at Ascot on the straight track. It's unfathomable, isn't it? So the 1 minute you think you've got it licked, basically, and then you haven't. All right, Nick is the most stylish jockey of the field, says Dave Lowe, one of our producers. Nap of the day. They sort of, Dave likes to cosy up with Nick Scott. That's why he's trying to get it out there.
When I was at York in 3 or 4 years ago now, I remember getting a big tip for a horse called Marnie James in one of the big races at the Ebor, and it ran an absolute stormer. It was quite well backed and finished second behind the Go to Gold, who of course is a superstar, a sprinter, isn't he? Keeps winning listed and decent handicaps. He was running off a mark of 100 that day, Marnie James. He's beaten very narrowly. He's racing, I think, 83 in this race. So I know he's a couple of years older.
How long has he been in Harry's colours? Can't be that long.
If he comes back to that sort of form, Marnie James could run really well.
But it's just one of those races, guys, isn't it? It's just like come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I quite like La Rocco del Fuego. It's got a great name. I mean, you could just back him on that.
Do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
Go on.
The Rock of Fire.
The Rock of Fire, even better.
They're very good, Kate Tracey. Aidan Coleman on for Jeff Deacon.
This is his first ride back, actually, Aidan's, which is interesting. After he's gone backpacking around Europe. he did that for a couple of months there. So he did the bull run in Spain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did all of that. Wanted to go and sort of actually have a life and see a bits of the world.
He needed a sabbatical, Aiden did. He needed to chill out a little bit.
Yeah, so I
agree
think
with
this is his first ride back over 5 furlongs. Random.
He could just be showing us the future, of course. There's lots been talking about summer jumping at the moment, isn't there? And whether we might see a bit of a change in the not too distant future. La Roca del Fuego, then, the Rock of Fire. I'm hoping we'll give a lead to Secret Park on the Secret in the Park on the far side. Barry, is the Exchange screaming one for us here?
Yeah, I by gum into 7 now. Joint favourite with Val de Travers. Looks like he'll probably go off favourite 8 by gum.
Okay.
He's been a real springer in the market. Primo Comet 12. Stone Circle for Harry Cobden into 16. So there is some money for that Ginger Jam 16 as well. 19.5 Marnie James. I heard you mention him.
Yeah, for Harry, who had a winner in the week, didn't he, Harry?
So that would be rather fitting, having just had a whole spiel about football on the show. If Harry then had the second winner on the show, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Do you know, I was at Soccer Aid, talking at your local stadium.
Yeah.
I was at Soccer Aid, which Harry is the manager of each year, isn't he?
Yeah.
For UNICEF. He looked remarkable form,
Yeah.
considering his age, just his age.
Yeah.
Preserved almost.
He's great in the
He was
air.
on his
the
feet. He had
nicest
trainers
guy.
on. He was loving it. I was very close to him. It was great to see, actually.
Everyone says he's the biggest gentleman of all time.
Well,
Is that true?
he certainly loves his racing, doesn't he? He's a
Yeah.
great character for us to have. We need them out there. These well-known owners attract newbies to the sport. So, if you're new to the show, welcome along. Dave Orton steering the ship today with Kate Tracey, Graeme Rodway. We've had Mark Langdon in talking about the big kick-off and Barry Orr as well. We're 1 race down, 6 more beauties to come. Of course, we crescendo for the King George. 6 runners. We'll be talking about them all in depth for you as we go along. Keep your tips coming in. I want to know from you where you're going with it. Any multiples out there today? Could you have a multiple in this? Good luck if you do. This is going to be fun to watch, actually. There'll be some banter at the moment in the stalls for these jump jockeys. They're not used to it, are they? And off we go. Has anyone absolutely disgraced themselves?
Yes,
They have.
someone
Who was that that was walked out the gates? Glorious Rio. Henry
Yes.
Brooke, have a word with yourself. But on the far side, the Rock of Fire it is, who's
Yeah, he's
absolutely
flying.
flying. And at the moment,
Go on,
you
Val.
probably
Val
want to be
this side.
perfect for my Secret in the Park, who's getting around about a 4-length go. On the near side, Val de Travers, Kate Tracey.
not even bothering to hold
hoping
him.
for a quick double. The greatest showman's there as well. What's this down the middle? Is this
They're flying
Indian
along.
Sounds down the middle? Leoda's Dream, isn't it? There you go, Sam Twiston Davis. I'm already rowing away Nathan Moskrat. At the moment, the Rock of Fire's
Rock of
got
Fire.
this. What's coming here in the middle? What's this? Is this Ginger Jam? No, what's this? Come on, give me old Birkenhead. Jonathan
Birkenhead.
England. All of a sudden sensing it. Look at this.
Oh,
Who's going to
for
get
the
this?
Lord.
The Rock of
Park.
Fire's not coming back here, is it?
I don't know.
But Secret on the Park
Is
on the
that
far
Birkenhead?
side's running an absolute blinder, but he's gone completely the wrong place. Nathan Moskrat, the
Birkenhead.
rail is not the place to be, man. And he's Birkenhead, and Jonathan England looks like he's going to take it.
Oh,
Rock
is
of
he?
Fire's run an absolute blinder.
Oh, he's sticking his neck out, isn't he?
Sam Twiston Davis nearly
Oh, don't get fuzzy.
He's kept on to it, hasn't he? Birkenhead, I think. Stall 6 beat stall 9 then. Leoda's Dream looked like he was beat, and he came all the way. The Rock of Fire, the aforementioned, who we just said, Aidan Coleman. Aidan must have thought he was going to be back with a bang. All on the far side, Barry Orr.
Yeah, so your winner, Birkenhead for Jonathan England. Betfair SP of 40. Roca del Fuego, La Roca del Fuego hit a low at 2.36. Leonardo's Dream, who was there as well, hit a low at 2.26. All the action there for sure. Betfair SP of 40 for the winner. And he traded, I don't think he traded high at all because he's there all the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
That's pre-race.
This is Paul Midgley, of course. He's just unparalleled with some. He was well beaten by Val de Travers last time. Val de Travers, I'll tell you what, Kate, your last time that Appleby stat worked out there, didn't it?
Yeah, hasn't it? Just unfortunately. Yeah, not ideal that it has, but hey ho. I'm just trying to see if the carrying the 9 stone 10 previously. He's carried 9 stone 7 to a handicap victory previously, but I don't think it's quite got up to the 9-10, so maybe that's just taken a slight hit for that trend.
Who was it who said there's no room for patriotism in punting? Jonathan England.
Oh right, okay. Well, I don't think that many people were patriotic in that race. If you were, wherever he's going with that, well done.
Jonathan England.
Yeah, I
You
get
get it?
I get it.
It was
What you're
good. I
saying,
thought it was good.
all the Lionesses have backed him, have they? Ridiculous. I know, well, they are a bit more patriotic up in York, I think. However, I'm looking for it. G in many respects. Before we move on, because we have got this guy dash coming up at 240 in about half an hour's time. Again, low draws. That was in many respects a typical York Sprint, wasn't it? Front runners didn't come back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Melrose talking complete nonsense then, wasn't he? In his
Absolute
analysis.
tosh as usual.
Low draws all the way. You know what'll happen now.
Yeah.
I know, and I really fancy one
Sounds like
drawn low in the 240. Absolutely typical, isn't it? Well, there we go. Bit of fun. The jump jockeys have had their moment in the summer, and congratulations to Paul Midgley and Jonathan England. That horse used to be rated a lot higher when it was trained with Les Ayres. So Paul finally working his magic on the big stage with Birkenhead. All right, we must move on. Back to Ascot we go. Another fillies race, this time for 3-year-olds. The last 2 renewals of this, Barry, have been won by Group 1 winners. Is there one from the top draw lurking in this year's edition?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, but Zanbach is your 2-1 favourite on the exchange at the moment. It was that price during early exchanges on Thursday into Friday, but she was as short as 13.8 as one stage. Jumbly is 5, November 7.866 Ascula. That's the one that's been a bit of a springer. 9.4 Kind Gesture, and it's 20 bar. I like Zanbach. It's hard to get away from her run in the Sandringham. Now, I know the winner, Heredia, has been beaten since, but the horse that finished third of Jessica Harrington's in that race has won a listed race in Killarney as well since. So we're going to go to the exchange, please, G-Rod. Zanbach on the exchange, currently trading at 2. I think that's a very, very decent price now, considering we're going to have 25 quid win on Zanbach. Interesting, Holly Doyle on Jumbly here, and she's on Jumbly in the next. So I'm sure that's attracting a few coincidental doubles for some punters. The Holly Doyle mounts in consecutive races, but Zanbach for us here at 2-1. I think it's shield short.
Listen, I find it hard to disagree with that. We spoke together on a preview show yesterday, didn't we? We thought the Varian stable had this by the short and curlies. You think the other one's interesting?
Yeah, I like the other one, Kind Gesture. I thought that she was wildly impressive at Windsor last time.
I was there that day.
10 lengths.
You had to be on the rail.
Yeah,
it was one of those old school Windsor days. She got the rail, but she was just in a different league.
Time was good.
Was it?
Time was good, yeah, and she finished very strongly.
She's a slow burner, isn't she, this?
Yeah, she's got the hood on, which is always a slight concern for me at Ascot.
Massive.
Because, you know, it's a very stiff course, and if she is a bit free, which is why they put the hood on, that would be a slight concern. However, I think this race might set up a bit better for her. There should be a pace on here, you would have thought. It's a bigger field, and I think that she might be the pick of the pair. But I think that the Varian horses will have it between them. I do like Zanbach as well. My slight concern about Zanbach, apart from the price, of course, she's fairly short, is that Heredia, the horse that beat her, was turned over at a short price at Sandown next time.
I wouldn't read too much into that. I think she was turned out too quickly in the
It's possible, isn't it? Yeah.
And the fourth one since. The fourth won a listed race in Killarney since Sigma, the horse of Jesse Harrington.
The time was very good.
It looked a good race, didn't it? I think we were all thinking it was going to be a very good edition of it.
The time was very good in that Ascot race, and the front two, Zanbach and Heredia, separated themselves from the rest, which suggested that they were both very good. I just had it, given the price, I just had it in the back of my mind about what happened to Heredia, but it's quite possible that Heredia just underperformed.
Yeah, so we've had the first favourite going at Ascot. We've had a bit of a shock, in a very wide open race at York. So favourite backers will be hoping to get back on track here. Lots of people like Zanbach. I think we're all pretty much in agreement. Kate, are you looking elsewhere?
No, I am with Zanbach here. I mean, like you say, from sort of previous runnings of this race, the fact that we've had Group 1 fillies coming out of it, I don't think it's necessarily the strongest renewal of it. I still think that Zanbach is probably the best filly, though, of the most scope. And yes, you can say on her second last time out, she was well positioned. Obviously, we had the straight track there. We've got the round course here, which is going to pose a few potential issues for her from stall 1. Of course, Jim Crowley then in stall 1 on the round track. We know that he's gone into trouble a few times from that position. And I am slightly fearful if she gets further back. And yes, there's the argument that she may have potentially have been flattered in the Sandringham by her running style in that on the straight course, because the horses who were ridden in similar style fought out the finish between them. Like you say, Heredia was disappointing on her next start, but we were on at the same time, weren't we, I think? Or,
yeah, we were. Yeah, we covered that.
And like I say, just think it came too soon for her. So, yeah, in this race, you want to side with 3- and 4-year-olds. They've had 5 winners apiece in the last 10 years. But if you backed all the 3-year-olds, you would have made a profit rather than a slight loss then on the 4-year-olds. So 3-year-olds are the ones to keep on side. And hopefully then Zanbach can just get back to the winning ways shown at Haydock, which was actually a career low performance, but at least she showed she could battle in that.
She was really trying to get herself qualified then for the Sandringham.
Yeah.
She was like, she wouldn't have been totally wound up. I didn't think it was. That actually wasn't the worst form in the world, even though it was a sort of lowly race. 4 Group 1 winners have won this in the last 10 years. 4. The last 2 have gone on to Group 1 success. Can you remember who won it last year?
Oh, I did know.
She runs in the Nassau this time next week. Glorious Goodwood. Dream Loafer.
Oh, Dream Loafer. I literally was just looking at Dream Loafer before I came in.
Year before that,
Yes.
Lady Bowthorpe.
Yeah.
Thistlebird won this 10 years ago. Went on to win the Pretty Polly at the Curragh. And there's another one lurking in there as well. Euro Charlene, who went to America and won a Grade 1. This is a classy race.
Group 1.5.
Very, very good horses win this. We've got another social come up. Sam Caney. The first King George.
Yes, Sam.
Reference. Yes, Sam. We're loving this.
Come on, the Westover,
says Sam. Sam, one of our favourites out there. All right, Sam. 3:35. Let's do this. We can absolutely do it. Barry, as we know, is lengthening the odds. Don't forget, this is your money back offer race. Money back is a free bet if your force fails to place. So again, might be quite keen on Zambat there, I suppose. What about Jumbly here? Keels has just had his best bet of the day at Ascot win in the heavily punted Lazoo. He really likes this.
Yeah, probably the right trip, I thought. It's been running over a mile, hasn't it, Jumbly?
Been all over the place, isn't it?
Yeah, I think she ran in that race at the start of the year at Newbury, didn't she? I think the old Fred Darling. Have I got the right horse?
Yeah, she did behind
Because
Wild
there's
Beauty.
Jumbly and Jumbie.
Yeah,
it's
no,
quite,
I
it's
know,
quite
yeah.
confusing.
We've got Jumbie coming up. Yeah.
No, yeah, she shaped. I thought like that was more a trip that day. 7 furlongs, Jumbly. Yeah. So and then since stepped up to a mile last 2 starts. One was at Longchamp where she's beaten by Mangustine, and then in the German.
She got a bit bumped about there. I
German
watched the video of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think this
Went off
this will
favourite in
suit
the
her.
German race.
Yeah. Yeah, we often do. when we go
So we're
there.
all in agreement that a 3-year-old filly will win it. We don't fancy any of the older fillies. November, no?
No,
November's
that's confirmed November. Yeah.
under Rennie Peachluk has, or Peachlek, I should say, Peachlek maybe even, however you say it, at a German horse. Twice been over to Royal Ascot and finished 4th. This is a jockey who's over for the Shergar Cup, Sam Hart's telling me as well. The Shergar Cup looks like it's got quite a strong representation
Couple of
of
weeks,
jockeys this
isn't it?
year.
Yeah. Shergar Cup.
6th of August.
Yeah.
We've got a very interesting show lined up for the 6th of August. Yeah, Shergar Cup. It's a long day. Should I say?
It's a long day, isn't it?
Should we give a little promotion? Barry's coming over, first and foremost.
Is he?
Barry's going to be sitting
Is he-
back
is he
in the hot
riding?
seat. Is he on the Republic of Ireland team? There's one. There's a charity idea. Absolutely. You're having a bit of fun there, G-Rod. And we're going to be joined by, dust him off. Paul Keeley's coming back. He did the show last year. Keels will be back on. Madness. And we've got the 3-time champion jockey, Oisin Murphy, joining us in the studio as well, which is going to be very, very necessary with some, because Oisin is the international superstar, of course, and he'll be telling us exactly the riding styles and all that sort of stuff. So some panel that on the 6th of August. Do not miss this show. All right, Shergar Cup, because it's Marmite, isn't it, a bit for everyone? That, really. But November, I think the 3-year-olds will take this out, Barry. Let's get another social before I talk about one of the other 3-year-olds that I really like in this race, but I'm worried about the draw for. OK, there look to be a lot of cut in the ground at York. The forecast good to firm. The first one about that. And thank you, Charles Carter, for that. We'll get you the time of the first race. I mean, it's a sprint race. And
So by 1.3 seconds.
yeah, that's pretty sort of goodish, fastish ground, isn't it? It can look a bit funny.
And
at
it
the
brings
moment.
in just something that I heard from. Well, you know James Hill works for us
Yes.
at the Racing Post. Now his dad owns a share in Trushan, who of course is a superstar
here we
star.
go.
And now he reckons that there is a very strong chance that the Goodwood meeting that starts on Tuesday, which we are of course covering live on RP Live
Every single day.
will start on genuine good ground. And he says that if it is genuine good ground, Trushan will run
Finally.
in the Goodwood Cup against Strad, against Kyprios. What a race!
Yeah, it does look like a brilliant race, doesn't it? Let's hope that's the case. I'll tell you what, I was watching a meeting at Doncaster the other night, to go back to Charles's point, and the Times were saying it was all good to firm, but my goodness, it was like kick back on the old fibre sand. Because they're having to put down the water with this current dry spell at the moment, and let's not bash these clerks of the courses. It's the turf husbandry, they have to go through the courses. They know every blade of grass on that course, and it is a horrible job sometimes when the weather is, particularly testing. Yes, it's a glorious summer, but it's not great for the race courses, is it? And we've seen water on bends, we've seen Beverley, Haydock's being called off at the last minute. That horrible week we had. Yeah. It's very loose on top sometimes, but Charles, it's probably still pretty quick underneath. So they might kick off the top. And York ground, so much has been said about the ground at York. It's up there with Haydock, isn't it, to try and work out. They worked, they relayed it, they did everything. So maybe that's another reason why some horses go at York.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, just sort of the nature of the track then as well. And like I say, I didn't get to see the kickback quite from our kind of far away images as such there, but even
we'll keep an eye on it.
Even Utoxeter there yesterday, the amount of splashback that the jockey's got, but it was still good ground and summer ground. But like I say, with the water that goes on top, the kickback that they can then get just from that surface water makes it look as though there's more cut in the ground than there actually is.
There was a 5-1 on-shot beating on that Doncaster card on Thursday night. I can't remember. It was a variant horse in a 3-runner race.
Yeah, I tipped it.
Did you? That's why.
It was Ace Tipster.
That's why.
But what actually happened?
It was a Mickey Mouse race.
It was a Mickey Mouse race. There are a couple of non-runners, including the Main Danger of the 1-4 chance, and the jockey on the jockey on the front. Jockey on the front got a very soft lead and kicked off the front and. Yeah, I think it was actually Jack Mitchell who was riding.
And I heard that they weren't happy about the state of the ground for that horse that got beaten because he was slipping all over on it apparently and hanging all over the place. Anyway, there we go. The conspiracy about the watering, but. At Ascot, it looks like absolutely peachy as usual.
They're never happy with the ground when they don't win, Dave.
Oh, here we go. Frizzy Reg says, good afternoon, Hugh. Now, you're probably wondering who Hugh is. If you watch our community, and we love that our community is built out there, we've got a really strong community, mainly in the YouTube chat, Facebook Live as well, and you'll mention it to each other on Twitter as well, but Hugh Masson is one of our originals, so Hugh is obviously backing Jumbly as well. Frizzy's one of our regular contributors as well. So, look, taking on this fab with Jumbly, who's definitely facing a drop in class, and the Charlton horses, G, have really started to kick on now, haven't they?
Yeah,
what did you make of selling Thesis, talking about Ascot?
Selling Thesis.
The Britannia winner.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you have a Britannia winner, you outsource them anyway.
Well, that is usually the race where they all get sold.
Yeah.
It's the one where the foreign agents are looking at because it suits them. They've got young progressive horses that can step up to Group 1 level in Hong Kong and Australia and stuff. But for Juddmonte to sell what they consider to be the most talented horse in Charlton's Yard, and he kept bumping into horses, didn't he, in his maidens. He broke his maiden at one Ascot, but that was a bit of an alarm bell, wasn't it?
Who's calling the shots, do we know, at Juddmonte at the minute properly? Because they have made a fair few interesting calls recently.
Is it Barry Mann? Is it the Irish guy? Is
he actually one making the calls?
I think he's got a lot to do with Colin Keane taking the ride on Westover, let's put it that way. But but whatever's going on there, that was a little bit of a shock move for me. All the 3-year-olds are in danger at the moment, aren't they? Are 90 to 100 horses are being sold. But let's be positive, the 2-year-olds are absolutely outstanding, and that's the division that now starts to get rocking and rolling. We've had the Princess Margaret winner. What did you make of Lazoo? For those of you that were with her, does she go and win the Lowther? Could she go on and win a Chiefly Park or something like that? We saw Angel Blue, didn't we? The colt in this, in the same Mark Chan colours. He went on and won 2 Group 1s for Beckett last year. Beckett's having a great time of it at the moment, and he's got the favourites in the King George. Talking about favourites, Barry, let's bring it back to the Valiant Stakes in the 225. They're on the round course. They will not go above 2-1, will they, on this?
No, it was in 2.98. It was in 2.88 at one stage as well, out to 3.0 now, which is 2-1. But the 2 springers in the race are Jumbly for Holly Doyle into 4.7 from 5.6, and Oscula, who's been matched to the high at 10, is into now 5.8. So you'd have to say the market momentum definitely with Oscula, William Buick for George Bowie.
She's a filly that I absolutely love, Barry. And
I remember her last year. She was just rock solid, wasn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Epitomises everything about the Bowie Yard. And she ran, of course, at Epsom on the Friday, wasn't it, behind Ever Given. And then she went up to Carlisle and hosed up. She ran really well from a bad draw at Sandown Listed Company. Again, placing Listed Company at Chester. It's the draw that worries me. Buick gets back on. She's such an honest filly. I'm sure she'll be there or thereabouts. But it's the draw that worries me. She can be a bit fresh and a bit keen, and William's going to have to be at his absolute best to get into that bend because she is what?
She ran 10 times as a 2-year-old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just great to see. Yeah, she's a lovely, lovely. I really like her. I've just taken her on a little bit. Craig Ruddock, love this, Craig. And the dam of Thistlebird is Jumbly. All right, Thistlebird, of course, who won this race. Great,
the dam
Craig.
of
Love
Jumbly is Thistlebird.
Yeah.
the other way.
Her
around.
Dam, who won this race. Of course, he went on to win
Yeah, I was
Group
sort
1
of looking
success.
at that thinking, why is my brain not processing this?
Very good.
It's
Craig.
right.
Like
You're
that.
right.
It's correct.
Essentially, but
Our viewers,
Yeah.
they're shrewder than G-Rod.
Right,
Right,
they're
off we
off.
go. Away we go. Looking for it. Unsurprisingly, Jamie Spencer, of course, who was, bless him, in the next. The Bunbury Cup winner who's been back to follow up in the International, right out the back on romantic rival at the moment for Josh Barry. Where's George's other horse, Oscula? See what I mean? She can be a bit keen, can't
Yeah,
she?
she is.
She's very keen there.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
pulling
she
for her
is.
head.
She got a bump
I
there,
was wondering
Kate,
if
did
they
she?
might have. She was just snatched back off of heels there as Snooze and You Lose was trying to get into her standard
Yeah.
position. We expect her to go forwards. We expect November to go forwards, which has happened then, which is actually giving Oscula a nice toe into the race. Where
Yeah, and her old rival Edacos, who was third to her at Carlisle. Now, G, you were worried about the hood for kind gesture. She's
all
taken
right.
a lead.
She's all right. Yeah, she's taken a lead, and I think they're going a fairly good pace, which is helping her to settle a little bit. Kind gesture. So she's in quite a nice position, just in behind the leaders. Zambak's going well, right behind her.
And Rennie Pajchelek then on November. Gonna say, catch
Favourite's
me
going to
if
have
you
traffic
can.
problems, is she?
It's
Looks that way.
possible.
Don't say
Jim
that.
Crowley on the
That was the
inside
fear.
at Ascot, not again.
That's the
We
fear.
all remember Mostadaf, of course. Who's the actual back marker? Of course, Serenading, the big outsider for
Billy
James
in front
Fanshawe.
into 11-4 November, the German filly.
She's classy.
Knock away,
She'll
isn't
take
she?
some beating.
Good.
Jim's giving it
Well done,
6
Jim.
lengths
Give some-
turning in.
Look
All
where Jim
right.
has to come.
Snooze
Oh,
You Lose
he's
is
not
there
getting
as well.
there.
Now he's looking for the run. She's absolutely
School.
tanking, isn't she? Where's
trying to
Jumbly?
go
Look
wide
at her,
out.
keeping her in
No,
on him.
Jim,
Oh, no,
Jim,
Jim!
no.
He's finding every trouble going. I think Oscar now goes through Jumbly's not going to win this, is he, Zambak? He's had an absolute
he's had a nightmare.
Jumbly now goes to the front. Williamsby
Sure, old Dave. Here comes Oscar.
William Buick.
Oscar.
Zambak's got out all too late in the
Oh,
day.
very
What are
hard.
we doing
Gosh.
Is he going to hold on?
here? It looks like a schooner's
I
going to
don't
do
think
it.
he's
I
gonna hold on.
Jumbly's going to try and
It's
tap.
coming late.
He's so
Jumbly's
tough.
gonna get
Here
up.
comes Jumbly.
She's going to get there.
On the line.
got there.
Oh, she's got there.
Oh,
she has got there. Holly Doyle has got her up, I think, on the line. You can see the photo there. Look, Oscula. Oh, absolute worldie, Oscula, isn't she, with her attitude? She's just the toughest out there. But it looks like she's been picked, and we're going to have to pick the bones out of that race. Barry Orr.
Jim Crowley's had an absolute shocker, and if he had held his position on the inside, he'd have got a solo run, but wasn't to be. Oscula trade at a low of 1.17, so nearly 6 to 1 on for 75 quid, but just got chinned. Just in the shadows of the post, Holly Doyle getting up on Jumbly, who traded at a high of 9 in running, only a high of 9 as well for small money, just for 5 quid. So the Jumby double is on.
Jumbly double is on.
Jumbly.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? Well, look, well done, all of you out there that backed it. Seemingly a lot of you did, and she's had a deserved day in the sun. Oh, very interesting. The Dam was a Group 1 winner, as Craig quite kindly told us. And I mean, Holly's been a little bit clever there, keeping Jim in, hasn't she? What do you make of the ride on the Fav, G?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that she's. It's hard to say, isn't it? He has got in a bit of a mess, and she is finishing quite well, but she's not flying home, is she, Zambak?
Well, she hasn't held fourth, I don't think.
No, I think she has got done, yeah, for fourth. But Oscula's so unlucky not to win the race, Dave. So unlucky not to win the race. I mean, look, you pointed out how keen she was in the early part of the race, and that's just cost her.
Can I get my senior analyst hat on here?
Yes, get it on.
You can't say that she was unlucky. You can say that she was unfortunate. She's had every chance. She's not unlucky. This is there's a difference. I know. I have to write it every day. I've been pulled up on it. I've been spiked. I've been re-edited. So she's unfortunate.
We've all been there.
We've all been spiked. Absolutely. All right, that was the Valiant Stakes, an absolute thrilling race, wasn't it? And Holly Doyle then, well, her mounts start to collapse as it goes on. And I'll tell you what, just watching her there, Kate, she's not gone for the stick, has she?
No.
The Pro Cush was not in action. Oh, the Queen of Ascot comes to the fore again.
Oh, she's brilliant at Ascot, isn't she? I mean, she did have stall 5 there, but giving yourself that on the round course there, your one off of the rail, is so paramount. And that was the thing where Jim Crowley, I know that was sort of giving him a bit of stick here, but he was basically subject to having to take his medicine because of being drawn in stall 1. There was only so much he could really do then. And that was always going to be a crux to the favourites' chances here. Unfortunately, it's that way. We see it time and
look
time
at
again.
that.
If you go inside, you get blocked off on the rail. If you go outside, you get blocked off there. It's sort of sod's law. And just as that was happening, good ride then by Holly Doyle to pin him in. Big
Yeah, race riding, absolutely. She almost waited, didn't she, to make sure.
Knowing where the danger was. She knows the form of the race inside out of what the danger horse is then, and how the ground in the Sandringham that Zambak was making up hand over fist in the finish. She would have known that herself with that finishing effort. But yeah, I mean, where would you go with her now? What, Would you go to something like the Matron then with her? Do you see her as proper Group 1 then?
I like
Very
this.
interesting.
No entries.
No entries
she's got
at the
no
moment,
entries.
but Roger Charlton at the moment is talking to our reporters out there, so we'll try and get a quote for you. Jake Galloway comes back on, he opened the show. There's going to be a lot of these out there, Jack. Crowley with an absolute stinker. Would you go that far?
No, I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was terrible. I think that it was good ride by Holly. Kept him in, obviously,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure that Zambak would have won with a clean run.
When you're on the inside on the round course at Royal Ascot and you're on a traver, you have to rely on luck. Now, Mostadaf, if you remember in the St James's Palace Stakes, was the start of it for Jim, wasn't it? And I'll tell you why he's elected to go wide and try and get that outside run, which I think if he got it, punters would be singing. I mean, it's been so many split decisions that Jim's not quite had go in his favour. I think he thought November, who was on the rail, the pace set was going to come back. And he's made that decision. As it turns out, he could have just gone one wide and maybe come with his run. But G's right. She's not rocketed home. Serenading, who's just picked her, I think, on the line for fourth, kind of holds the form down a little bit, or she's stepped right up because November is a Group 1 horse.
I think it's possible that if Zambak had got the exact run at the exact times when she tried to get out, and she would have won. That is possible, but she's not like so unfortunate because she didn't absolutely rock it. You know, she would have only won that race if everything had dropped right and gone in her favour, and it absolutely didn't, did it?
Okay, I've got some quite interesting news coming actually. So I was just reading that. Is this the Greys race at New? No, it's not. Is it? We're just watching Newmarket as well. Of course, we've got the July course today as well. Some very interesting 2-year-olds running there today. We saw one in the first race at Newmarket, by the way, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. What was his name again?
Oh, I'll let you do it, Kate. There was one at Sandown on Thursday. as well.
Highbank.
Highbank. There you go.
Highbank.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Barry, yeah.
Barry, did that come in for any classic quotes?
Have we had any?
Yeah, introduced in the 2,000 guineas at 33 to 1.
I'll tell you what.
33s.
I mean, it's only won a novice race, but the Hannon horse that was third in that was expected to go very, very close. And they won it with Modern News, the opener, on the July course last year as well.
What was the time like? I'll just have a look. I'll find out for you.
Thank you very much.
Was slow by 3.9.
Can you speed up a bit today now you're back in the studio, please?
That was a bit slow.
Yeah, you were. You're like dial up. Okay, we've got to go back to York. We've got another sprint coming up. Let's do that right now as another Gosden horse streaks away at Newmarket. Francesco Clemente. Is that the Wood Ditton winner? It is, isn't it? He looks like a group horse in the making.
I mean, it was a slow time.
Was it a slow time?
Compared to the second race?
He came from last though. Nearly. He
Well,
looked like a really good horse.
it was
Anyway,
a
look in your
2-year-old,
members
of
club,
course.
you can see it. I'm just going to give you a little members club plug, actually, if you don't mind. We've got Glorious Goodwood coming up. Unparalleled access to the members club, 50% off until the end of July. Your first 3 months. If you're not a member on our website, you need to be for Glorious Goodwood, the 5 days. All the unparalleled access, of course, you can beat the shops with the paper, get it at 9 p.m. as well. The digital edition comes out. That's still out there for you. Okay, we must move on then to York. I'm really keen on one here, Barry. I was delighted that the low draw horses seem to come to the fore in the previous sprint. It's not always borne out the same, but the Exchange seems to think single figures is the way to go.
Yeah, Silver Samurai drawn 3 is 6.2, favoured along with Nationwide, who's drawn 5. He's 6.4. 8 Gale 4 Maya drawn 6. Abraham Gold is drawn 8 is 8.6. 15 Atomic Lady and it's 16 bar. I like Atomic Lady and it. Please G-Rod, and it's 4 places each way on the Betfair Sportsbook, and we're going to back her each way there over on the Sportsbook to avail of those 4 places. Very consistent as a 2-year-old. She wins in Ripon and over the course and distance in the nursery here. And she was also a good second in the Goff Sales race over this course and distance. Now, this season, she's had 3 moderate enough runs, although her last run behind Little Levi in the July course, she was only beat 6.5 lengths. She wasn't knocked about there either. She's on a mark of 85 now. It's a very, very competitive race. But just at the price, I think 25 quid each way, Atomic Lady, to avail of the 4 places on the Betfair Sportsbook.
Okay, great stuff. So if you want to get involved with Barry, we're playing for Greatwood, of course. Barry plays in every single race. You don't have to. Just enjoy it. Try and learn something. We'll pin out the eye catchers, maybe the form of the race or something like that, or just have a laugh with us. That's basically what we're trying to do. It's an alternative look here. And, of course, you don't have to play in every race. Safe gambling is our MO here at the Racing Post and, of course, at Betfair as well. And Atomic Lady then, drawn in stall 2. Now, right next door to you is the Fav Silver Samurai. This, I think, is the winner. There's 2 horses I've got in this, and I've got a feeling Kate Tracey might be interested in the one I'm about to say as well. But I've gone for stall 3, Silver Samurai, who was the best of the low-drawn horses in the Wokingham. And he looked like a horse that was still really improving going into that. Ben Curtis is here, Mr. York, absolutely brilliant record here. He's run well at the track before. Stall 3, a bit of pace, please, next door. and we can hopefully go close. Now, Keith did say that a lot of the pace was high in this. This is what he wrote.
Oh, this is the race.
This is the race.
Sorry, yeah. I thought the last one was.
He would, yeah. Well, he said on the sprint track,
Right.
but this was his race to give Melrose a bit of credit back, and he likes Nomadic Empire, who is a horse that I am frustrated with. But his best form comes here at York Nomadic Empire, so I've got Silver Samurai on top of Nomadic Empire. Is that your tip?
Nomadic Empire, yes. I have the 2 in here that I've written up in my column for Betfair. Then Venturous to win this race for the second year running off of a £2 lower mark than last year. And Nomadic Empire then as well, who's the bigger price of the 2 and ticks the more boxes as well. And as you say, he has been frustrating so far this year, but in the main, he hasn't been running as badly as it necessarily looks. And from this season, he's managed to come down £5 in the handicap. And he's another course and distance winner. He was having a great time of things last season as a 3-year-old. He hasn't been able to carry that progression forwards then this season. But as I say, he has had his excuses. He's well drawn here. Well, historically on this race, middle to high, in stall 11. Prominent racer, which again, I'm hoping is going to hold up then. Perfect turnaround time. Last time out was abysmal. Too bad to be true, though. But he's been given £3 back. So, yeah, Nomadic Empire hopefully to come right. And I am having the saver on Venturous as well, who has been halved in price from what he was earlier in the week.
The links are superb for this race because someone has tipped Venturous.
Yeah, I like Venturous here. Yeah, he won this race, didn't he? Last year. Off a £2 higher mark, he won it off 95.
Yeah,
Frizzy, what you fancy?
Dodds to take the sprint, says Frizzy, who's on a quick double, with Galeforce
Standard,
Maya,
pretty standard
who's one of the
eagle.
favourites out there, you know, because it's a mare that comes back, isn't it?
Yes.
Comes out as well. Good luck with that. And of course, Toon 2020 HWTL, whatever that means, comes back in and says, Venturous here for me, ran a blinder last time out. He can have a few problems with the stalls, Venturous.
Yes, Tony did. He ran an absolute blinder. He was in that race, Mountain Peak. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yes.
That was a great
who goes
race,
again, doesn't
wasn't
he?
it? Yeah, Mountain Peak,
Man,
yeah.
Have you spent the winnings on that yet?
That
Saving up for Canada.
I really enjoyed that race because not only did I tip the winner, but Dave and Barry both had the sort of short-head second. It was brilliant. Anyway, yeah, he was absolutely flying home, Venturous, that day, over 5, right? So that's 5. He obviously won this race last year, so course and distance, back to this course and distance, he just shaped like he was just coming up to the boil, you know, again. And he's off a lower mark than when he won it last year. So I think Venturous can win this Toon 1-2-1.
What is
That's his name, wasn't it?
He's doing a sound check.
Sound like a robot.
He's a horse that obviously he's 9-year-old. We all know him, and like maybe the King George a little bit later on, horses that are coming back. That's what everyone loves about the sprinters. Those that really like the sprint division, because you get to know your horses really, really well. And if he's on his day, this tees up perfectly for him. But he's not for me here. Just a little bit of housekeeping, and Jack Reeve, our social keeper today, who's clipping up for us, is on this as well. I had some news coming through this as well. Now, if this was in the autumn, Birkenhead would have been demoted from that because Jonathan England got a bit happy with the Pro Cush.
Did he?
Oh, really?
Yes,
How many
he did.
times over? 4
Yeah,
over?
so what was second? Was
Over
it the
5
Otis Dream that
furlongs?
was second?
Oh, he must
Sam
have-
Tristan Davis would have got it in the stewards.
So did they not abide to the flat rules of the stick then?
Funnily enough, no.
Funnily enough.
We
Was he
counted
still
10.
all over?
Scott Burton, our French correspondent, who, as we well know, he's covering a bit of York today. Silver Samurai goes
He
in
would have
York.
been disqualified.
So we're going to be... The main reason to say... No, he would have been demoted. Yeah, it was over. He was over. He used,
But they were allowed the 7.
yeah, so
They
he
say
went
4
over.
Oh, so 3 over was
yes.
flat, isn't
It's
it?
3
Sorry,
over
my
too
bad.
many, is it?
Yeah.
So that's an actual
Sorry, so it's
Yeah,
Right,
so
right,
and
over
he's been
for the
banned.
flat
He's been
fourth
banned.
jump,
He's been
yeah.
suspended for 7 days, Jonathan, for his trouble as well. So I hope he enjoys that prize. Oh yeah, Medge
on,
the
Wonder
Ledge is
Medge.
in here as well.
Oh,
aren't
Medge
they?
the
Sam
Ledge,
Hart's
yeah.
coming on. Should we have
Medge
Medge the Ledge?
Ledge the Ledge.
Such a character,
I
isn't
love
he?
Medge the Ledge. He's
Fun
great,
enough, he's
isn't
back out again.
he? Yeah.
He'll pop up today because no one's picked him.
Yes, you're right,
Yeah.
Barry. We
Yeah.
might want to have a 5 on him. Tom Leach comes back on. Tom, welcome back to the show. You're with Barry on Atomic Lady, Music Society, and Venturous all each way. Yeah, Music Society is quite interesting actually. It's an Easterby horse, and he used to be, at York. He's won here He's run here a few times without winning, isn't he? All right. Well, good luck with that, you guys.
Medge the Ledge surely wants 5 furlongs, and this is 6. So.
Well, he could give us a bit of a steer to the none-thought
Yeah.
favourite, Royal Acclaim, of course. So it was lengthened the odds successfully for Barry a week or 2 ago. Right, we're off and running. Here we go. It's the dash. Where's the pace going to
How
come
much pace
from?
we got?
Melrose says hi.
So they come down the
And
centre.
they're going all low. At the moment, it is Gelfos Meyer right up there. In fact, he's actually nailed it. They're coming down the stands. I tell you what, Silver Samurai just cannot go the gallop. What price has he gone? How is he not 30 to 1?
13.5 Silver Samurai.
Put another 0 on. He cannot possibly win. He cannot possibly win from there. Venturous right out the back as well. You must be feeling beaten now.
Yeah, they're going fast though, 42 miles.
Yeah, it's a horse who's on a real roll.
Blazing along here.
So it's Ganafar basically, who was beaten last time out for Tracey Waggett, but loads of pace in the race. What's this? Of course, Aberama Gold.
Aberama.
For all you Peaky Blinders out there. What's coming in the, Richard Spencer colours.
Yeah,
David Egan.
fine.
Big moment for David Egan. No misriff today. He's trying to take, it's nomadic Empire's coming.
Spread your way through. You were not meant to be that far back. You were not meant to be that far back.
Galfast Meyer looks like it might have it. Viper Focus is there as well.
No, Galfast
Music
Meyer.
Society on the far side. This is again
it's
another
wide
typical
open,
York
Dave.
sprint. Gelfors Meyer trying to hang on. Hyperfocus is coming back for the Easter Bees. It looks
she's
like Meyer's
trying
going to take it though, does she?
Toe
Yes. Dodsey
Well done.
did just take it out. Again, right down the
Gelfors
centre.
Meyer.
So the Dodds have done it. Mr. Egan must have thought he was going to have it. Nomadic Empire. David Allen and Hyperfocus looked like he was beaten coming back. Silver Samurai has absolutely flown home. He just hated that early pace. Where was Mej the Ledge?
I didn't fancy it today.
Didn't fancy it
He was
today.
out the back.
Yeah, all right. So
Mile.
tricky race. Well done.
Frizzy Red.
Frizzy Red, absolutely flying out there. We've got some shrewd judges, haven't we, in our community out there? 9-2, so well fancied. She's bordering on listed class, this horse, isn't it? And you'd have to say that was a career best under Connor Beasley. Barry Carnage, I imagine, because it looked like they were going to fold. They kept hanging on, no closers at all.
Yeah, the winner's Betfair SP of 5.99, really well supported into the finish. Trade at a high of 11.5 in running. Lucky Man, trade at a low of 4.1. Silver Samurai, who was 5.5 pre-race, has ran on to finish well. Aberama Gold, trade a low of 3.35 as well. A whole host of horses traded short running, as you'd expect in one of those sprints. But the winners held on well.
I'll tell you what, Barry, you're absolutely right. There were a couple of eye catchers there, none less so than Silver Samurai. As soon as is there a market on the Air Gold Cup yet?
Ooh.
I would be very interested. I know that's Bielsa's race usually, but I'm thinking that Silver Samurai would be perfect for that. Just how on earth that has run on. I'll tell you another horse that's really caught my eye, and they're the well-fancied Nationwide, who looked like a polytrack horse really, and the Qipco horse, but he's absolutely flown home as well. I think we'll see winners coming from that race. It's a valuable sprint, seeing how much it's worth. Yeah, over 30 grand to the winner there.
Yeah, pace again. I mean, she wasn't too far away, was she, Gail Force Meyer, then throughout that? And like you say, sort of with the pace she was showing up front, then like you say, sort of Air Gold Cup, we're looking at Portland Handicap, something like that, then it would be interesting to see exactly where she goes. But yeah, this course and distance, though, if you can just take her back to York next time out for a race of this nature, just keep running her here. I mean, Dodd's in a sprint handicap at York. It's, yeah.
She was third last year in the Great St Wilfrid, but that was off a much lower mark, so she might have to step up now into Patton
Yeah,
Company.
she's really tough.
She's so very. Horses that wear cheek pieces, I think it's my favourite type of headgear, cheek pieces, because it's usually just a lazy horse that's got more in it.
I used to have a weird theory about cheek pieces. Does this surprise you?
How long have you got?
I'm all ears.
Yeah, I used to like to back front runners over jumps on Betfair in running if they went off in front and they were wearing cheek pieces. Dave's point being the reason behind it.
Keep finding.
They're just generally lazy horses.
Yeah.
So if they do go off in front, every time they feel a horse come to their quarters, they just keep finding and keep finding and keep finding. And it's amazing how many winners that threw up. And that is obviously one of the upsides of being able to bet in running on Betfair.
Do they jump better in cheek pieces?
Oh, I could run those stats out for you if you want.
There's one for you, but your pace that you've been going at Snell-like.
I don't have
this
my
is not a
computer
Snell-like
with
show
me today.
All right, we've got one more to come from York. The Mile 2. It's a small field, but some very classy operators in the York Stakes, basically, over a Mile 2 at 3:15, which is a precursor to the International, which comes, of course, during Ebor Week. At York, the last of the big festivals, I think, the week-long festivals on the flat. We are firmly now in the second half of the season. We're firmly now, Barry, in the second half of the programme. It's 3 o'clock. We're 40 minutes away from the King George. But first, we've got the easy-looking International Stakes.
Easy is right, yeah. 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook here for each way. Punters on the exchange. Dark Shifty just loves it around here. It's 5.2 favourite, has been right from the inception of this race, the final day, decks on Thursday. 9 Jumbie for Holly Doyle again. 11 Air to Air. Big money for that. 12.5 Fresh. Aratus is 15. 16 King Zane. Tactical for Ryan Moore and the Queen is 16. You have to go all the way down to the horse I like there, G-Rod. It's Star of Orion. It's trading at 30 on the exchange. We're just going to have a straight shoot, 25 quid here on the exchange on Star of Orion. Second to Dana in this race last season off 97, was rated 102 after that effort, but has failed to trouble the judge in 6 subsequent starts. Is down to a decent rating now, though, is now back to a mark of 96. And looks like this race has been in mind for it all season, really. Rob Hornby in the plate, the man of the moment, drawn 13, so I'm happy enough with that. So just going to throw a dart here on Star of Orion at 30.
I put him up in the Bunbury Cup, Barry, which, bless him, of course, won. Ropey Guest was second and jumped. So all the top 3 reopposing this race. And again, so many favourite horses in this. It's great to see with these handicaps because you get to know them. He's
still only a young horse. He's still only a 4-year-old.
He in the Buckingham Palace, which is the older horse race over 7 Fells Bays, his course and distance at the Royal Meeting. He got bumped all over the place, and I was prepared to give him a try on the latest run. He was really well backed. He was around about 20s when the market opened up. He was into 9-1 for that for the Beckett's. We know that the Beckett's are going really, really well. They got Westover to come. They won the first race as well. He got marooned on the far side. He was just beaten a bit too far out for my comfort. That's why I've gone against him here. But I wouldn't be at all surprised to see a much better run from stall 13 down the middle, which is where you wanted to be during the Royal Meeting, isn't it? Have you dared to do the draw here?
Tried to. Yeah, middle to high, but mainly middle. Yeah, gave up, exactly. And then sort of yesterday's racing then at Ascot didn't really help me either because everything was just sort of going centre. So a centre again is basically what I'm going for.
It's probably where they're going to come from. Bless him has got exactly the same stall as when he won the Bunbury Cup. He was in stall 3 there. Now that's on the far side, obviously. I think I'd rather be middle to high if you had to sort of pin it. But oh my goodness gracious me, it can do your head in that. Trying to work out the draw at Ascot. Baked Bean.
That's a great name.
He's probably got a very good tan. Star of Orion, you're following in Barry there. Baked Bean, a German variety of our classic staple food for breakfast over here. All right, yeah, so look, there is some love out there, Rob Hornby. This would be interesting, wouldn't it? There's always a story, isn't there? I thought that maybe David Egan might win on Claymore because that's a precursor to not being on Mischief. But Rob Hornby at Ascot, not taking the Westover Rider, of course he won in the Derby. So much said about that. He is, of course, on Star of Orion. MI joins us back and says, top secret, each way, capable of a big run. I think he's disappointed the Muir Yard and Chris Grassett Yard this season. He went to Epsom and it just didn't go right. Forgive him that. Richard Young has napped this in the Expert Eye in the Naps competition today. Massive price, and Keith Melrose tipped it on me on In the Know as well. So not without a chance, loves Ascot. Did me a favour when winning there last season. Wouldn't be at all surprised to hear CM have to say at all. However, none of you have mentioned the winner yet.
Oh.
It's Aratus.
Aratus. Taking the wind out of my sails again for my second selection. But
you've got him. You've got him in your multiples.
Yeah. I'm giving him another try. Probably a last try if it doesn't go closer.
Nothing went right for him at all at Royal Ascot in the Hunt Cup.
Any of his runs this season.
Well, absolutely. And if you think back to when we covered him at Leicester, when he was behind Happy Power, that was just having a sort of suck it and see run, wasn't it? He's a 3-year-old that did very well. I'm going to come to G-Rod in a minute because you actually think he's rubbish, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think he's that good. Yeah,
I do think he's good, and I think off a mark of 100, everything looks in his favour.
I think that his race maybe comes up next month at Goodwood.
Ooh.
There's a 7 furlong handicap. I think that maybe he won last year, or he was in last year.
Yes.
At Goodwood, I think he's well suited by that track. I'm not entirely sure that Ascot is his course. I wonder if he likes a more speedier sort of test.
Me and Kills put him up that day when he won on the 28th of August. That was off a mark of 98.
But you know that you've tipped this. Siegel has tipped
Everyone's tipped
Paul
it.
Keeley has tipped it. Mel Rose has tipped it.
The excellent Kevin Morley has tipped it.
Kevin Morley has
Hits
tipped
all
it.
the trends.
So if there's any wisdom in the crowd, surely Aratus must win.
And once again, the evil bear in the corner swims against the tide.
Yeah, I think Air to Air.
I like Air to Air.
Will win this.
I do like him.
Yeah, George Bowie. We like him.
King Zane for Neil Francis out there. Neil, another one of our regulars. He's flying since joining the Charlton yard, of course, on a very big Saturday double as well. King Zane, all-weather winner last time. Was he with Mark Johnson? He was, of course, wasn't he? Beat Soar Above, who would be a Kempton specialist at Kempton last time. Cliffs of Capri used to run in all these big races as well. Good luck with that. I mean, it's a big step up in Graving. Did someone else tip this? Has Tom tipped this as well? He might have done. Let me go to that.
We should probably give Dark Shift a mention.
Your nap of the entire Royal Ascot meeting, which hideously took out the Hunt Cup for you.
It shows the
beautiful.
trickiest race of all.
You won't miss him. He's great, isn't he?
No, he's
It's sizzling hot form, by the way, that, isn't it?
Yeah, and he won it well, didn't he? I was calling him the winner 2 out. He was travelling so well, and he stormed through to win that race, Dark Shift. I just wonder if the trot to 7 is absolutely ideal for him. I thought he was very strong at the finish that day, and he's obviously up in the weights. But I thought he was very good, and he might well be a group horse, mightn't he, in time, Dark Shift?
Yeah.
No?
Oh, do you not think? I think he's very, very progressive.
I think he's Pogo Mark II.
Real well.
Pogo was placed in the Hunt Cup. Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm not suggesting it's a bad thing at all. Love Pogo. Okay, Ewan Montgomery comes back on and says, top secret, SOS into 16s. Great each way bet, course and distance on. And Hayley Turner rides Ascot well. Yes, she does, of course.
The queen of the straight track.
Yes, she is.
The queen of the straight track. Sorry, Dave, I've got the producer in my ear. What did you say? Ooh, right, so it's a proper gamble, this. This will be annoying.
Put your glasses on, will you?
Oh, it's not just me that struggles to read that,
Come on,
by the way.
just give us...
Other people have sat in his seat and mugged it up, so...
Give us a line on Ropey Guest, just because you love him.
Oh, everyone loves Ropey, don't they? Jimmy, as our lovely Rosie Marsden calls him.
Jimmy?
Not Chubby.
Is it Chubby? Which one's Chubby?
Oh, wait.
Is it Chubby?
Wait a second. Who's Chubby?
Oh, I don't know. Did
I
Jimmy
get them
run
confused
yesterday?
now.
She was in the ladies' race yesterday, wasn't she? She's brilliant.
Who did she ride yesterday? Oh, God, I'm getting all my
Was
guests
it Model
confused.
Guest? I can't remember which one it was.
Too many guests.
You get that.
We've all got nicknames, yeah.
Ropey Guest, second, and looked for all the world like he was going to win the Bunbury Cup, didn't he? And he just gets pipped. He's the horse. He's the sort of horse that would be 10s on in a novice race and just get over the line. And Rosie once told us that he needs to not know he's in a race. So the moment he thinks he sees glory, he wants to go back to the. And Andy Sim is with him as well. Each way from me, loves Ascot. Was 4th in the Jersey Stakes. That's what we all pinned it on. Talented horse for the Marsdens who don't have many horses, but they always seem to run their racing. Callum Hutchinson, one of the £5 fines of the season. Wayne's son, of course, and a Royal Ascot winning jockey.
Yeah, he looks actually stumble from Dark Shift on the way down.
Dark Shift
Almost
got
fell over.
a beautiful camera shot then of him cantering down beautifully in his red hood to the side, and then he falls over his own feet. He's fine. We saw.
Hang on a minute. Well, whatever he does, Dark Shift, we know he can put them in the right order going down. He's been very gingerly taken to the start, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, keeping a lid on him. Red hood,
under Buick, of
for a
course. He
reason.
looks like he's going to win his first jockey's title.
Oh yeah, he's
Game
how many
over,
clears? Like 30 clears, something like that from Holly.
We say game over. Bans and things like this can come
And
to an injury.
injuries
So let's hope that
so
William.
God forbid.
Yeah, absolutely. What about Jumbie then? Because Jumbie looked like he was going to go off favourite for this. He was third, of course, in the Bunbury Cup. First time cheap pieces on Holly Doyle on the quick double, but it's fairly easy to back Barry now, is he?
Yeah, it was a 10-1 chance when we first went up with the race, and Dark Shift was a 6-1 chance on the sports book. But Jumbly now is 9.6 in the exchange, and Dark Shift is a 4-1 chance. Heading towards 92, actually, 5.4. Air to Air is strong at 11.5. Fresh is steady at 12. Tactical has come in for a little bit of support with Ryan Moore at 15. King Zane is 13.5 as well. Expect him to get off in front, well, if he can. So it's a decent betting race, as the International is every year, Dave. That's why it's 6 places on the sportsbook. And on the exchange, it's 92 to field.
Yeah, it's 77 grand to the winner, basically. And we love these straight track handicaps, don't we? We absolutely love them. It culminates on Champions Day in the Balmoral, which is always on a bit of softer ground, isn't it? And again, I was just looking down all these horses. You've got Roscoe in there, of course, as well. Kills really fancy the Bunbury Cup. Probably drawn out of it, wasn't it, a little bit? And just a little bit flat, but Kieran Fallon takes away. You've got Accidental Agent, Group 1 winner in there.
Yeah, he could run well.
Ascot, yeah.
Accidental Agent.
I mean, every horse here we could give a little talk to, couldn't we? They're all this is such a good race. Lion Towers had a good season. Orban. Documenting, who's a course and distance winner, of course, and he could go well for the Hitman Heart.
Jason
Northern
Hitman.
Express. What about Chief of Chiefs?
Yeah,
Have
he's
you
your
backed
each
him
way play.
today? Because he's one that people, again, look
Yeah,
at Graeme, look, this is a painful memory for you, this, isn't it?
Well, he's just like, you can find a reason to back him, can't you?
Yeah.
Every time he runs almost, because he runs the same race over and over again. He's like that Australian horse that ran in the July Cup.
Aratus.
Yeah, like, what was that thing called? You know, it always just starts at the back and then he comes through and you go, oh, it's flying home. Yeah, I'll back that next time out. And then he runs the same
You
race
didn't
next
get that.
time
It's
out.
of course Arturus, but Aratus
Yeah.
has been a bit like that this season. He won the. Do you remember when we had a pandemic year with no crowd there, and he beat Nahana? Was it Nahana? What was the horse called? That we all thought was an absolute certainty for William Agus and James
Yeah,
Bell.
Nahar.
Nahar.
That's
So
the
it's
last time he
painful
won.
for me, and he finally got. I think it was that last time he
That's
won.
the last time he won, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just the time when he's going to pop up, isn't it? When
Yeah.
you think that you're on a good thing, a short price favourite Nahar who goes on to win group
Yes.
races.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but Charlie Fellows, one of the best talkers
Interesting
in the
jockey
training
booking,
ranks.
Dave.
Yeah. Colin
Well,
Kilroy,
I was
first
coming to
time
that,
then.
Barry. When are we going to mention this elephant in the room stat about Colin
And is he going to
Keane?
get a first Ascot win, Colin Keane?
Well, this is the other story, isn't it? You know, this is his warm-up ride for
From
Westover,
46
basically.
rides.
Naught from 46. But you actually picked the bones out of that yesterday, didn't you? And you just
Yeah.
said it's rubbish.
It is rubbish, yes, complete rubbish. Yeah. Well, it's not obviously rubbish.
Into
It is,
expectation, is it?
it is a
Expected
fact,
rates.
yeah. But I think like 29 of those horses were 20 odd to 1 or bigger. There were like 10, 50 to 1 shots in there, and I think like the expected winners works out about 2. So you know, from 46, he's basically ridden a bunch of not horses that didn't have very good chances and ended up with a record of 0 and 46. He certainly has not been on a horse like Westover around Ascot, and he's going to get his chance today.
Yeah, and I think what you said about Westover earlier, Barry, just I was switching now our attentions to the 335. The race of a lot of the seasons is the King George. All the greats have won it. I think they'll try and repeat the tactics that the Curragh like you do. Just get him into that home straight nice and relax, and then catch me if you can, because I'm the strongest stayer.
It looks like all he does is stay, Dave. Yeah. Now, my fear is that Ryan Moore goes out on Broome and kind of steadies it up and tries to quicken from the front again. That would be a bit. Colin Keane would be wise to that, though. He'd be wide to it, and I don't think Colin Keane would be too adverse to taking it up if Ryan Moore wasn't setting down the sort of pace he wanted to go. To be brutally honest with you, I think he's confident jockey. He knows the horse now. He knows the horse stays. He took it up 4 furlongs out in the Curragh, big long straight, and all the horse did was gallop to the line. Now, it was an average enough race, but I think getting his allowance as a 3-year-old, and if he gets the race, turns it into a true test of staying, I think he'll take all the beating.
I think Pile Driver is the key to our hopes
Yes.
on Westover, because he will pressure.
Put the pace to Broome, please,
Yeah,
Mr. Pile
massive
Driver.
moment for PJ McDonald, of course, who's won on the horse before. But he's going to keep the ride, PJ, of course, and he's going to have a great season. Hopefully, left. Mally D comes back on. Mally, where have you been? Hi everyone. One bet for me today. Tactical, the Windsor Forest winner.
Yeah.
Been called
Queen's
a few-
horse.
Yeah, the Queen's horse. Been called a few names, hasn't he? Tactical since he's won that. I tell you what, it's Ryan Moore, isn't it? And of course, Stall 2.
Wouldn't be entirely surprised, would it, to see Tactical?
He
win
looks
it?
like he's slowly working his way back, doesn't he?
He's got the
RPRs
course
will
form,
suggest
hasn't
that.
he? Yeah.
Of course, he was 6th in the Britannia. Chinned it. It wasn't a bad run, was it? He was sort of held up in a race where 2 dominated it.
Yeah.
In a funny run race. So this is a drop in class for him. Yeah, interesting. All right, Maddie, good luck with that one. So you'll be hoping that the far side is where it comes into it. Trying to find out the front runners in this is not so straightforward either. There aren't actually a lot of them, I don't think. Maybe Roscoe might be up there. Eagle
King
Way
Zane.
likes to get on with it. King Zane, yeah, good shout, Barry. So that's 21.
Tactical will be prominent as well. He likes to be up there.
You'd think so. But again, we associate it with the reason why Hayley Turner and Jamie Spencer ride the course so well is because they go on strong travellers. We had Matt Williams, of course, with us at a pro punter during World Ascot. You don't want a workman-like horse, like a horse that we talk about who needs cheap pieces. You want the strong travellers at Ascot because you let the runner up. Is usually the horse that goes forward, meets the rising ground, and falls, by the way, going to the line. No love for Fresh, which would what happens when people jump off Fresh, but he falls down on the class angle, funnily enough, winning in the class angle. He's got plenty of good class, really well fancied Royal Ascot, wasn't he? Probably drawn out of it. But Danny Tudhope, another another Ascot main player.
Yeah, certainly so. And like you say, of course, form yet again, drawn out of it last time out, then a Royal Ascot in the Wokingham can give him a chance off the same mark. Handicapper didn't touch him after that, which was pretty interesting, and he actually did well, things considered. But yeah, he's just sort of one of those, another ones where you can give the chance to, and he's lurking, but
Doesn't
he's
have
not
a lot of
sort got
those
there.
to his name, does he?
No,
Hey,
yeah.
King Zane is turning into one of the best backed horses of the day. When you look on the exchange, he's being bet at a high of 24 for all sorts of money. He's into 9.2 now, so he's nearly an 8-1 chance on the exchange. Just to put that into context, on the exchange, there's been 800,000 matches. Nearly 10% of it has been on him.
Is that right? For James Doyle, who of course jumps in the saddle on Mishriff, last year's runner-up in the King George. Massive rise for James Doyle, who of course has won the King George before. I'm looking for the highest winning mark of this year, 106 Daniel last year. So it's only Accidental Agent who's above that. Jumbie, of course, on 106. King Zane 102, still got a bit of scope then from the high number. We'll look out for him early doors. Around about another 10 to go in, so get your bets on if you haven't thus far.
What do we make of bless him here, Dave? He obviously won the Bunbury Cup, didn't he, last time out, coming up the stand side rail. And he was going away at the line, wasn't he? Finishing very, very strongly. Last time out winner.
He's Spencer's ride, isn't he, really?
I presume that's why he's not on Tree
He's a
for
dual
Chief.
winner on the straight track at Ascot, as we know, as a 3-year-old who won at the Royal Meeting in the Britannia. He did catch the eye in the Royal Hunt Cup as well when he was 7th.
But it gave a lovely form boost to Dark Shift for this.
But it's, yeah, well, absolutely. Dark Shift, really strong now, Barry, is he?
Yeah, 5.0 now. Jumbly heading the other direction out to 12. 10.5 air to air continues to gather support. And King Zane into 7.8 now. Absolute bombs of money for him.
Is that because of that lack of pace, do you think? Is
For the
that
Charlton
because-
team who will advertise their stable form in the previous Valiant Stakes. By the way, looks like she might try and emulate the Dam and keep going up now. She's going to go to Celebration Mile, we think. Lee Motter said is there for us at Ascot today. Sent me a quote, basically. Looks like that might be the place. Celebration Mile, maybe the Hungerford Stakes, something like that. But it's definitely going back up to
Taking a
Group
steady
1.
progression. then
She's
to the
relaxing
Hungerford
better,
then.
which Thistleberg did as she got older as well, so keeping it in the family there. So that looks like it's strong form with the Valiant Stakes again then, our previous race. We've got 2 more races to come after this. We go up for a Mile 2 race, a classy Mile 2. It's the York Stakes, of course, there, 3:15, and then it is the big one. The poll is out there on YouTube. Who wins the King George? Probably still got a bit of time to do that, I would imagine. And so many going for Westover. Emily Upjohn's been the weak one, but we'll give them all their credit with a little spotlight for you as well. Loads of people out there watching the show today. Great to have you with us. Let us know where you're watching from. We love to hear that. Keep your tips coming in. Okay, this is going to be an insanely difficult call.
Yeah,
really
so
there?
good luck with this one. This will be fun.
I mean, I never signed
No
up to
help.
be any sort of commentator whatsoever. And here we go. Let's find out then. Good luck if you've played in the international. It's going to be fun, that's for sure. I'm absolutely loving today. Dark Shift then.
Dark
Under
Shift out
4
of
to 1,
10.
would you believe it? Out we go then, as expected. Barry thought it might happen. King Zane leading on the
Centre.
near side. Something's gone for a solo, just to do our heads in. What on earth is that, G-Rod? Can you try and pick that up for me?
Guarantee it'll go
Whatever it is. Not Ropey Guest, is it? No, he's in the middle
it's
back, I think.
It's Tamani.
Is it Tamani? One of the outsiders,
fine,
not
the
for David
outsider for
O'Mara.
lot
Now
then.
that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Exploring
may
the
as
far
well.
rail. So we've actually got 4 groups.
Yeah.
Dark Shift is up there in the middle. Who's leading in the? Is that Asjad on the near in the middle that's leading? It looks like it is.
I don't think they're going very fast for a big field handicap, Dave.
No, there
Doesn't look
wasn't,
like
there
it,
wasn't
does
that
it?
obvious
Top secrets on the
glass
near
in this.
side. A lot of you out there like that. And the near side group look like they might have sway here, I imagine.
Yeah,
Where's
King
Arthur?
Zane. That's why his money was coming. You see, he's gone to the front.
Where's Aratus?
Right.
He's
on the
settling
stand side.
wherever he
Where's
is.
I'm right on the near side. Love that. Okay, so it's King
Starting a
Zane and
race
Top
now.
Secret locking horns now.
cover.
Chief of Chiefs out the back under Colin Keane. That would have been
they're
the MO.
cranking it
I think
up.
the near side
Go
group
on,
is just
Dutch,
about in front,
go
isn't it?
through.
Top Secret on the rail here.
come on,
We'll
Ross,
be
I'll
getting you
find a
all
way
excited.
Yes.
I think you get gobbled up. Come on, Aratus. What have you got? He's there
Go
as
on,
well.
Ross, I'll find a way through there.
What's this? Fresh, is it?
Oh, which
Can I hear him
side's
coming?
leading?
Dark Shift
Come on,
down the
Dark
middle.
Shift,
Have
go
to be
alone.
group horse.
Trouble in
King
the
Zane,
race.
the Gamble foiled. Air to air coming on the
Come
near
on, Ross,
side.
I'll pick him
Look at
up.
them, they're a line abreast. The
Oh.
draw's an
Come on,
absolute
Dark Shift.
joke, isn't it? It has got
Fresh
there's
is in
no
front. Here
bar
comes
at all.
Bless him.
Bless him. He's going to do it. Jamie Spencer
No,
is
it's
in
gonna be Fresh.
Fresh has got it, has he? Fresh and
she's
Blessing
got
go
it.
to the line.
You
Absolutely.
You knew Fresh was going to come good again.
We've
then.
all abandoned ship, would you believe it, after a defeat at Royal Ascot. Danny Tudhope, the man who gets him home. Just as you get off him, absolute tip-top form, that Barry, because he's got the Bunbury Cup winner and the Hunt Cup winner either side. Great finish down the middle.
Yeah, great finish. 12.7 at Betfair SP for your winner. Dark Shift traded at a low 2.04, so even money for the favourite in running. Air to Air traded at a low of 2.50, which is 6-4. What was in the red and green? Was that Northern Express?
Yes.
I think it was, that was flying at the finish. Northern Express traded at a low only of 7.6, but yeah, plenty of in-running news there. But Fresh with Danny Tudhope, 12.7 Betfair SP.
If you're on the world tipped up Aratus, I think we've got 6 places. I think he was 6th. That's all I'm looking at this
Oh,
point.
he's so frustrated. I mean, he's run a scorch there, but he is so frustrated. I thought today was going to be the day between him and Dark Shift then, but Aratus, everything was going to be in his favour. He looked as though he settled well, though, and he's definitely hit the line pretty strong. So, yeah, drop back down in trip.
Yeah, Rata 6th.
Yeah, he was. Just as we got the 6th place. All right, we all seemingly tipped him. As you can see, King Zane falling out the back of the telly there. Again, the middle of the place to BG.
It was, yeah, and the right horses came up, didn't they? Like you said, the Bunbury Cup winner, the Royal Hunt Cup winner, Fresh has beaten them both. I just whisper to you that Aratus will win that race. At Goodwood
I think you
next.
might be right.
That might
I
be
hate
his
to say
race.
it.
Yeah, I do really think that will be
Because
his
the
race.
handicap's not going to
No,
put
he's
him
not
up.
going to. Surely he won't.
No, he'll
Would he
go for
drop
the
him for
same mark.
6th? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Air to Air was doing his best impression of Chief of Chiefs. He was like weaving around, travelling really well, and then couldn't get through, and then came home quite well. It was a messy race on the stand
This
side.
is sizzling handicap form, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, this lot will be back out
Yeah,
again,
Dark
won't they?
Shift gives it a real good feel, doesn't it?
And bless him, who is obviously back absolutely rock and rolling for Dave Simcock, the 8-year-old there. I thought he was going to do it. Air to Air, yeah, we're watching the near side group. I thought they had it. I mean, Top Secret's on a funny race for you out there because he doesn't usually go that hard. Who was on him today, Top Secret?
Well, Chief of Chiefs has
Bless him trade at low 1.60.
Well, I thought he was going to get up,
Yeah.
as you probably heard in the call. Tactical's not showing a great deal, is he? Jumbie's not showing a great deal. I'll tell you, one big eye catcher, look in the orange, documenting.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like he's rocking and rolling again, the 9-year-old, doesn't he, coming back into form? Again, these horses can now go to the smaller tracks, and we think this is form you want to follow. So your top 4 is Fresh beats Bless Him, Dark Shift, only 3rd, but another probably improved run in defeat with more weight on his back, and Northern Express, who did rid a screamer for the very clearly banging form Dodds team, having won our last race at York with Northern Express. And keep your eye on documenting and don't give up on Aratus just yet.
Danny Tudhope, he rides Goodwood particularly well, and of course we've got Goodwood coming up next week, so definitely worth keeping an eye out for what Danny Tudhope's riding next week.
It's on the Friday when they change the rail, isn't it? We have the Golden Mile, which is all of a sudden it becomes Chester for a race.
Yes, it's actually a really big change in the course.
Massive.
You know, I was in touch with Ed Arkle earlier in the week for the piece that I
Why
wrote
is
for the
that?
paper
Tell us
today.
about this. Not just Mark Langdon advertising a piece in the paper today.
Yeah, for the masterclass pieces on how to win at Goodwood today, which is in the Racing Post today.
Can you give us a couple of main points along bullets?
Yeah, I mean, William Buick's an excellent jockey around there. He's got a superb record. A lot of people think Ryan Moore's the man. Actually, William Buick's got a far better strike rate than Ryan has around there. Mark Johnson, 3-year-olds in all age handicaps are not worth following. All age handicaps, his 3-year-olds have got a very poor record, 1 for 32. But he's actually got a very good record in the 3-year-old handicaps alone. So when you're looking at standalone 3-year-old handicaps, that's where you want your Mark Johnson runners, not so much in the all-age handicaps. And yeah, looking out for those.
You've even mapped out the course.
I've mapped out the course.
Did you have fun doing that?
What's that?
front runners and prominent runners really do thrive on the last 2 days, Friday and Saturday, because that cutaway disappears. They have a cutaway the first three days, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday have a cutaway which allows the hold-up horses to get their runs. Those last 2 days, when it goes to its tightest configuration, that's when you get all the trouble in running. So a lot of people will go into Goodwood next week thinking, bumper cars, hostage fortune. Actually, the first 3 days, it should be pretty fair racing. They've got cutaway, they'll all fan across, you'll get that run. The last 2 days is when it can really get messy.
It's glorious, it's Goodwood, it's Tuesday to Saturday. We will be here every afternoon for you on Racing Post Live with Betfair along the way. And Baid comes out the best horse in the world, strutting his stuff again.
Yes.
We're expecting him to win, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
He'll win.
Oh.
He will win, but I don't think he's the best horse in the world, Dave.
Who is the best horse in the world, Graeme?
It's a very big call. I mean, I think Mishriff has got legitimate claims to being the best horse in the world.
Who turns up in 15 minutes' time at Ascot.
I certainly think that Desert Crown has got serious claims
We're not
to
going to
being
get the chance to
the best horse in the
prove it.
world.
Are we
but
going to see him
sadly-
again this season, Desert Crown?
I think we are.
Sadly, we're not going to get that clash at York, are we, in
No,
the
which
international?
is the one that we desperately wanted.
Which is the one that we
Barry's on for the
wanted.
arc, as we know, at 50s.
By Eden Desert Crown. So Desert Crown again is next week he's going to turn up and beat up a bunch of inferior opposition, which he's very good at doing, And when he actually comes up against a good horse, we'll see how good he is.
So we're talking about the international coming up, and we've got a precursor to that at 3:15 coming up. We see the market there. Darren Walker joins us back. Can you ask Rodway any bets for Chelmsford tomorrow? Your home track.
Yeah, there is one. Just let me look it up for you, Darren. There is one.
Walker, stand by,
I
incoming.
just went in again in Newmarket, 12 from 20 for the Stewards Cup this day week.
Which one? Who was that, Barry?
Lethal Levi. You know the horse Jimmy
yes.
Quinn rode last day for Carl Burke,
Yeah.
the 3-year-old. He's just gone in again. Really, really impressive on the July course again.
Okay.
And he's 12 from 20 for the Stewards Cup, which is this day next week.
Marvellous. So you'd imagine he'll turn up there as well, because he's tough, isn't he? Very tough. He might have even needed
Looks
that
it,
to get
yeah.
in, I'm not sure. A lethal
He's
Levi then.
Cole Burks, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, this time next week, the big race of the day, of course, is it's not just the Nassau, is it? It's the Stewards Cup. All
Big
right.
betting race is the Stewards Cup, yeah.
Massive, and we've had some great fun on this show with it. We really have. Do you remember?
I backed the winner last year, didn't I? It was just another bottle. Did
That was the
last
Great
year?
St Wilfrid. I mean, I think you're sort of promoting your
No.
races
I
there.
backed the winner of the Stewards Cup last year. I had backed it in the Dash at Epsom.
What was it?
Oh,
We'll get it. We'll get it up. We'll get it up. It comes back
John
on.
Quinn's horse. John Quinn's horse.
Not Mr. Wagyu, was it? No. What was the other one?
No.
Who would have thought Rodway spouts
Magic
sense?
Fools.
So interesting spelling of sense there, Dim. You need to talk more sense yourself, man. Or type it anyway, assuming you are, man. Yeah, you're right. You're talking some sense.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
Canadian sense. Sense for the sea.
Back to the Chelmsford tomorrow. 210 is the bet, Darren. It's called Rogue Missile. I think that'll win the 210 at Chelmsford tomorrow.
Is that one of those roguey
Comanche
horses?
Falls.
Yeah,
one.
Comanche Falls.
Comanche Falls. Crumbs. Yeah, I remember. Was that Under the Hitman? Probably
No,
was.
Connor Beasley.
Connor Beasley. Okay, yeah. We've had
10 to
some
1.
great times, of course. Who's Bruce's horse? Summergand. That was my favourite one.
That is
Yeah, we won it the year before.
that is
Yeah.
a draw race actually. The Stewards Cup
It can be.
must be drawn low.
Well, yes. Certainly when the weather plays havoc, but it looks set fair, doesn't it, for Goodwood next week?
Should be beautiful, shouldn't it?
come
Should
on,
be
we've got-
glorious.
We've got to go up to York because they're at the start then for the York Stakes up there. This has been one of some very good horses over the time, Barry. It's usually a precursor for something qualifying for the international. Such a valuable race to Group 1 back at the course and distance next month. Who's going to win it according to the exchange?
Yeah, it's a race I really couldn't make head or tails of, Dave. Dubai Honor 2.38, 3.65 Claymore, Dubai Future 6.4, 8.6 Sir Busker, and Dark Moon Rising is 23. They're all quoted there. The one horse I didn't fancy in it was Sir Busker, a 6-year-old stepping up in trip for the first time. And the ground, I think, might be a bit too lively for him. We can currently lay him at 5-2 in the two-place market on the exchange, please, Dave. And that's what we're going to do. We'll take 25 quid at a backer stake at 3.55, and we're going to have a liability there of around 60 quid. So I'm laying Sir Busker into two places because as a 6-year-old stepping up a trip for the first time, and I think the ground is too lively for him, and I think the ones at the head of the market are about right.
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with that at all. I like that play. Ben Curtis is on, extremely good jockey around the track. But despite the fact that William Knight and Connections have had a good week, I think, he's sort of caught between a rock and a hard place now, isn't he? And he wants the ground to change slightly. Dubai Future's been surprisingly weak here, as has Claymore. I thought Dubai would win this. I put him up yesterday when he was clear second favourite. They've absolutely smashed the life out of him. If you read Philip Robinson, the racing manager to the owners, comments in the paper today, you can't stay at home, gallop. He wants softer ground. They're pointing again towards the Champion Stakes on Champions Day at Ascot, but he needs a race, and he has won on Good to Firm before. If it was genuine good ground, he really should be this price to outclass him, I think. The Godolphin also had it between those two, but before we go down the panel, you like Claymore?
I do, yeah. I think that sort of he's been the popular horse to unfancy in this race really all week. When he did open up a very short price, which straight away everyone was trying to take him on, therefore, because he still has it all to prove in the context of when you come up against a horse such as Dubai Honor then in here. But I really like him, and I really liked his win on debut in that Newmarket Novice, and it looked no fluke overturning Noble Order. Second to Native Trail, of course, he proved that wasn't a fluke. Completely drawn out of things, widest of all then in the French Guineas.
Yeah, you don't want to be out wide in French Guineas.
It completely draw a line through that. Came back then, and again, you can throw stones at the Hampton Court form, reach for the moon. I'd say he didn't stay very well.
It's Native Trail form, isn't it?
It's the Native Trail form. That's it.
Yamal, Derby second behind him. He's just very keen horse, isn't he? He's settled much better at Royal Ascot.
Definitely. So I'm hoping that's going to keep happening as he gets older and progresses. My concern is Dark Moon Rising putting the pace to him in this race. That's what I'm concerned about.
But he showed again, but he did, I don't know. I think Claymore is the obvious improver in the pack.
Yeah, that's it. He's the improver. And again, he's the popular horse to take on then. But I think he's a fair price now with everyone siding with Dubai Honor on the back of this break. He didn't get the mile 4 then last time out in the Shima Classic. Unfortunate then prior to that in the Hong Kong Cup. So we know what he is in the context of this Group 2. But yeah, with the £9 he's giving to Claymore that he has to find, I'd still chance him to have more to come, Claymore.
Fair enough, Kate. All right, so you're going with the 3-year-old. You're with the Godolphin horse here.
Yeah, I think Dubai Future is the bet here. He's a good price, 9-2. Won well at Ascot.
You said he thought he'd go off shorter than a Dubai to me. You're not talking sense there, are you? You've got an absolute shocker. As they go in, who's going to be the pace in the race? And we think Dark Moon Rising.
If Dark Moon Rising could just go away,
Sebastian's walked out. Barry will be here, happy to hear that. He's going to be a bit lit up. Dubai Honor, under our good friend Stevie Donahue, just watching them in at the moment as Dark Moon Rising does indeed go on. The Wolverton winner, Dubai Future, Adam Kirby takes the ride. Adam usually rides Claymore, can't do the weight here, hence David Egan gets in the plate, who will be watching enviously, I imagine, in around about 15 minutes' time at Ascot. They're going at an all right pace, but he's dropping the anchor now. Barry, what does the exchange like? They're all settled okay?
Yeah, Dubai Honor 2.2, not far off its Betfair SP, 4.4 Claymore, 5-1 Dubai Future. That's come in just a little bit, 10 Sir Busker and 24 your leader.
Okay, G, are you happy with your Godolphin horse?
Yeah, very happy with him. He's settled very well, Dubai Future. Your horse is a little bit keen here, Dave. Dubai on, he's a little bit
hasn't
free.
run for a while since Maidan, has
Fresh
it?
and keen.
Fresh, absolutely. Unlike some of the previous Haggis horses, though, this afternoon, this one has been really, really well backed. Of course, we've got the Ebor meeting come up. Williams Haggis always targeted that, but this one is looking for Group 1 honours a little bit later on. All right, then, you've got to be happy with Claymore, Kate, as well. He's settled lovely.
Yeah, he has. I was just about to touch wood, but if he's settled by now, he's not going to suddenly grab a hold of the bit, hopefully.
No.
Yeah, no, he has. He had that ever so slight awkward head carriage there, but David Egan's done a really good job of settling in there. Now it's going to go into the territory where we're going to get to find out an awful lot more about him then as Dubai Future tracks him through.
Yeah, the money's definitely down on Dubai Future because it's not like Stevie Donahoe to go this early, and he's now ranging up. He knows that Claymore's the one to beat. Dark Moon Rising, the sitting duck then. Sebastian's still on the bridle a little bit. He's got a bit to find, doesn't he? But now Dubai hits the turbo charge. The class horse in the race.
Tight,
Claymore
Dave.
comes and eyeballs him. Dubai Future on the far side. He's taking it up then, Stevie Donahoe. So Sebastian looks the danger, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The old boy. He looks like he might on the rail as well.
Come
I
on,
think this is
Future,
in
get
trouble,
him
this
round.
favourite.
Oh,
Dubai
no.
shuts the door on Dubai
coming
Future.
across.
Sebastian's trying to come and do him. Is Sebastian going to get up
Sebastian.
here?
What a
This is
legend.
unbelievable. Sebastian, the old boy,
Go
looked like he had
Sebastian.
loads to find. Dubai Honor, Dubai Future coming back on the rail though.
he's
Stevie
coming back.
Donahoe, the class is coming towards the line. He's going to get on the favourite. Is he going to get it?
I think he got it.
I think Sebastian has
The
held
old
on, hasn't
boy.
he?
What a legend.
The old boy's
I
won
think
it.
he
I
has.
think he's just held on, yeah. I hope so.
I'll tell you what, Dubai Honor in front again just after the line. Here's the I think Sebastian's just done him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really close. I'm usually not on the fence with these, Barry. What do you reckon?
I think Sir Busker's definitely up. Yeah, according to the market, he's
I don't
currently
know.
5's on.
Oh, okay.
6 is on.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
And it has to favour the stand side a little, doesn't it, the photo?
It certainly is from what I can
That's
see.
it.
Look at
He's
me, I'm
8's
doing
on
every
there.
angle.
Yeah.
8-1 on Sir Busker,
that-
and that just about sums up my look.
Well, that was probably a very, very good ride there from Ben Curtis,
Yeah.
I think. He let them all get on with it a little bit and definitely feeling the ground Dubai on.
I'll tell you one thing, they put plenty of water on York if he's winning like that on him.
Yeah, he's won.
For sure. There's no way there's any firm in that.
He's got it. Unbelievable scenes then for the first time this afternoon here in the Racing Post Live studio. I've had a good go at Dubai on her as well at a price yesterday, and I've just been beating a whisker. He shut the door on your horse.
Yeah, he did. I don't think it made a difference to the result in the end because Dubai Future been well beaten. I thought it was going to get back up for you, Dave.
He's won a game race. He's definitely the ground.
Yeah.
But again, Sabaskas was the horse that we thought.
Maybe as well just needed it a little bit, would you say?
I think so.
He's definitely got bigger fish to fry, hasn't he, this horse, later in the season. They're going to be desperate to get him back on soft ground in the Autumn Group 1 company, aren't they?
And you can probably see why he went over mile 4 last time, didn't he? Because he took it up and the pace wasn't quite there. Claymore, a little bit disappointing?
Yeah, I think he probably was found out then, really. I don't think he had any excuses. I know they got racing soon enough then. As soon as Dark Moon Rising started falling back into their laps, it was almost as though the 3 fancied horses then came up with their runs, and none of them wanting to give any of the others any sort of an inch at that point, which has meant that they've got racing soon enough, even for the front runner biased track of York. Still on the round course there, you can get racing soon enough then. Rather than Sabuska, he was held up in rear, as we tend to expect from him, came more towards the centre of the track when that scrimmaging was going on then, just when there was nothing where the stewards may have a look, but I don't think they're going to do anything. There was no sort of having to check back off of heels or anything like that. But just as that was all happening, Sabuska down the outside on this step up in trip, run him over 10 furlongs from now and run him in the Judgment. Why not? He's just such a legend, this horse. I'm so pleased because the owner who runs Kennet Valley Thoroughbreds, Peter Borneal, he's just such a legend. And I'm so pleased for him because he's been such a consistent horse, hasn't he, in all of the top Group 1 mile races behind Baid.
Well, we've seen it.
We've
seen it in the summer mile at Ascot. There was no Baid for Chindit. Chindit goes and wins. Sabuska's now won Order of Australia, won in the week as well in Ireland. So now the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th have won. So again, I don't want to say the Frankel thing, but everything that Frankel came up against, everything that went to smaller tracks was winning. See the stars, the top horses, it's unbelievable form. It's gold dust form. Even if you just turn up in that race, you can go and win races anywhere. And it does seem to be borne out. Our handicappers certainly believe that at the moment as well. So there you are. We thought the Haggis horse was going to go and take it. The market certainly did. Absolutely whacked off the balls to Bayana. Ran about 5-2 yesterday, maybe even bigger in a place. Went off 5-4. Sabuska. He's just battled.
It's got a habit of throwing up weird results, that one, you know. Did that race last year. Bangkok won it.
Yeah.
The year before, Aspetar won it.
Yes.
There's some weird results in that race.
There we go. So don't give up on Dubai, but you could tell the money was down there, that's for sure. And they've left it behind. All right, it's King George time. We're probably around about 15 minutes away. And there is a result of the poll. You can see Westover, 40% then. Emily Upjohn, keep him in the market, just 15%. Mishriff, the other one, 20%. And any other result, another 25% as well. So some love for Broome and Pile Driver and Torquato Tassa, the Arc horse, in there as well. Right, Barry, it's Barry in the last time.
Yeah, well, you know my play. Will I go through it again, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've backed Westover at lengthen your odds to win by 2 lengths or more at 7-2. So that's my play in the race.
They've cut the price, Barry. Slightly shorter.
Yeah, but we're already on. You did it earlier, didn't you?
Yeah, we're on at 7-2.
Oh,
yeah.
He was worried about the trade being on.
Westover's shortening in the market. He was 7-4 when we spoke earlier. He's into 2.54 now on the exchange. So he has been bet at a high on the Betfair Exchange at 2.80, which is like 15-8 for 1,600 quid. And he's all the way down now at the moment to his current price of 2.54. 1.1 million matched in this so far, and 500,000 of it is on your favourite. Outside of that, Emily Upjohn, absolutely friendless in the market, the filly. She's out to 4.2. Mishriff has been steady away at around the 7-2 mark, 4.4. Takata Tasso, 15.5. That could be a massive price. Broome out to 17, and Pile Driver's your ragged field at 33-1. But the 3-year-old colt getting the allowances off the older horses and just giving the £3 filly allowance to Emily John. Everyone wants to be with him, and Colin Keane at 2.54.
Thank you, Barry. All right then, so 6 to 4 under a bit of pressure. It looks like Mishriff might well go off second favourite. I have to say that's how I'd have to mark it. Westover, Mishriff, probably then Emily Upjohn, and then I guess yeah, Torquato Tasso. And maybe I'd have Broome ahead of him, actually, the art winner. We just don't know about him on the ground, do we? Should we go through them then? One by one, we know that Barry... should we just get it out the way? This is a unison bet, this, isn't it?
Yep.
Westover for the entire panel then. Colin Keane bidding to make it 1 from 48. And I hate to keep bringing that up, Colin's camp, but he takes the ride. He was brilliant on it at the Curragh, which he rides so well. He was a Nats you-know-what from winning the Queen's Vase on Zechariah. You could argue he kicked a bit too soon that day, but I don't want to be mischievous there. It was a very good effort to get that all so close, I think. This is a horse he now knows, and they're sticking with him. We think maybe because of some international targets later on. The fact if he goes travelling and all that sort of stuff, they might want Colin with him, getting to know him. And if he kicks off the bend like he did at the Curragh, he's not got as long a home straight here, of course. So when does he make his move? It's very interesting. Last year's second, Mishriff is in it. Mishriff looked like he was going to beat Adier last year, and then he got outstayed and the 3-year-old allowance came into it. Can he give Westover £10? We don't think so, but I would have him second. We're hoping that Broome leads then. Pile Driver pressures him. Torquato Tasso probably be up there somewhere. Mishriff, Emily and Westover waiting to pounce. Westover eyeballs them, gets the money over the line, right?
Yeah, very nicely done. Nicely done then from a tactical
Take
perspective.
over.
Check out. Yeah, no, that's what I'm hoping here, that Broome is going to set the pace to the race then. And Broome is a very dangerous horse on the front end. We know he wants the rattling ground that he's got here. And he's a horse that is very easy to underestimate. I know that he is a 6-year-old, but he just comes here in the form of his life. Like, he's not one as though you're going to say, well, is he quite the horse he was? No, he literally is in the best form that he's ever been in. So I am concerned that we're underestimating Broome yet again, but the chances you can give to every one of these horses, dear old Pile Driver, 22 to 1, is just a reflection of this race in general. Love the horse, though. We'll hopefully put that pace pressure then to Broome. And as you say, Torquato Tasso, I mean, he is fascinating because it's been documented by his connections that he's basically a fat, lazy horse and he needs his first run of the season. They said that they cannot get him fit first time up. We expected him to come forwards from that, and he proved last time out at Hamburg his arc win was no fluke. We knew it wasn't a fluke by the form in behind him in the arc was as strong an arc as we've seen for, well, it was just a typical brilliant arc. And it's interesting with him because we don't get to see him on quick ground, Torquato Tasso. It isn't necessarily to say that he's not going to act on the quicker ground, because his pedigree on the dam side, that family actually made their name in Dubai on quick turf. So he could well handle it. Emily Upjohn, I'm concerned about. This may have been the plan B after not getting to the Irish Oaks.
Well, it definitely was the plan B.
Yeah, it was a plan. Well, yeah, not a conspiracy theory.
No, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
But when we talk about John and Thady Gosden then with their 3-year-old fillies in this race, yes, they've had an A1 to Garuda winning it, but both of them won the Oaks in impressive style. Didn't even contemplate going to the Irish Oaks, went straight to this race and went and won it. This is a little bit of an afterthought for her, and she didn't win the Oaks. I just wonder then about her. Mishriff, I don't fancy him fully staying at this trip in this country, so it all leads back to Westover.
I looked at him in the start of the week, G, and I thought, I wonder whether I can get him beat, because it wasn't a great Irish derby. He wouldn't, despite a clear run, he wouldn't have beat Desert Crown in the derby, because Desert Crown was just quicker than him. Albeit over a mile 4. But then I looked at the weight differential, and I looked at last year's race with Mishriff. I don't think he can give Westover £10. That's what does it for me. 3-year-olds in the last decade before I throw to you, G. It's not been as good a race as it used to be. Just 3 of them have won.
Yeah, at the trip, I think as well with Mishriff. I'm fairly sure that Westover is a stronger stayer at a mile and a half than Mishriff, and this is a stiff track. It is uphill all the way from Swinley Bottom. I'm not entirely sure that Mishriff wants a real stiff test over a mile and a half. I think he might be more of a mile and a quarter.
You think he'll win the job, Monty?
I think he'll beat Bade.
You think he'll win the International? You think he's going to beat Bade?
I think he'll beat Bade at York. Yeah, I think he's a better horse than Bade over a mile and a quarter.
And he's got a longer home straight there, hasn't he?
But this is a mile and a half.
Yeah, okay. Look, you can see the big kick-off, of course. A reminder that comes out on Monday in the paper. Tom O'J, I'm hearing this is a 2-parter. Oh my goodness, I'm going to need my glasses. I don't get the focus on the 3-year-olds. Westover on the outside of the derby. Yeah, it was. I think. Look, I'll come back to that. The Irish form was not flattered by Gypsy's Badille in France.
Pisbadil.
Yeah.
Emily Upjohn should have won the Oaks, but Tuesday was trounced lazy. But again, I've got Tomo, loads of holes in that first and foremost. Tuesday, that wasn't the Tuesday we know and love. You weren't sure about that yesterday when I questioned you.
I don't think the fillies are that good this year.
This is the thing, isn't it?
I said that in my piece that caused a lot of chat when I said that Nashwa should have been favourite for the Oaks. I think I had the top 10 trials and I only had 2 fillies. I had 8 colts in there, which just made me think that the filly's not that good. I still think that Nashwa is a better horse than Emily Upjohn as well. I think that Nashwa definitely didn't stay a mile and a half in the Oaks. She travelled like the best horse through that race. She came out and obviously won the Prix de Diane over a mile and a quarter. She's going for a Group 1 next week over a mile and a quarter. I think she'll win that. I don't think Emily Upjohn is good enough to win
the Lloyd
this race.
Webbers do, because they bought into her. Of course, she's wearing the colours there for the first time after the Oaks. We're going to find out so much about Emily Upjohn here, aren't we?
Yeah, and that filly form in general then, aren't we, really? Because like you say, I mean, you can pick holes in Westover's form with through Pisbadil as our...
He arguably just ran to his Derby form, so he hasn't necessarily... He probably did improve a bit. We've obviously got that on the RPL. We had to give him an improvement, didn't we?
The time though was very good at the Curragh.
And Pisbadil probably didn't act at Epsom. He was beaten a long way out, wasn't he?
He hammered them, like from sort of 3 furlongs out. Westover was so dominant. He was so quick over the closing stages off a fast time. He just must be a good horse. If he turns up and runs to that form, I think he's very difficult to beat here. Mishriff, we said might not stay. Torquato Tasso, I don't get the argument for Torquato Tasso at all. Quite a lot of people bigging him up. I might have egg on my face after this, but I actually don't think.
He's an arc winner.
Yeah, but I actually don't think
he's an Alderflug, isn't he?
I actually don't think he's that good.
His dad is called Alderflug, and if you look at the stats, it's all. I mean, he's pretty keen actually. He's going down to the start there.
I think that he was very much flattered in the arc. I think that Adayar, Hurricane Lane, all the big guns, all sort of ended up knocking 10 bells out of each other.
They went too soon, all of them, didn't they?
And in the end, he's come down the outside on his favoured ground, and he's picked him off late. Yeah. I think he got lucky to win that race.
But
personally.
Isn't it great to see an arc winner in this race?
Super to see him. I think he'll go on the ground.
You think he'll act on the ground?
I think he'll act on the ground, but I don't think he's good enough.
All right, it's the ground that worries me. Jump maybe comes on the firm ground. Should be no problem for Torquato Tasso. Well, he is related to a firm ground winner actually called Loft, but it's a completely different sire. Why is Torquato Tasso running? Well, because I love the way they've been so upfront, the connections. We've seen it all, haven't we? We've heard from them all in depth. In Germany, they showed us the work.
Well, why shouldn't he be running?
Well, because it's King George, isn't it? Absolutely.
This is where he should be running, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is where we want him to run.
Yes.
And if you are the top German horse, which I think is an arc winner, he probably is. He was beaten in their derby, but now as a 5-year-old he's peaking. You've got to come and have a pop at the internationals, haven't you?
Especially when it's 7. This is actually, we talk about prize money in this country, but when you actually look, then it's nearly £710,000 to the winner.
Marvellous.
The King George. But that's just one jewel in our crown that we can hold on to at least.
Yeah, Qipco.
One.
Absolutely, this is the jewel in the ground. Paul Keeley in the week said this is the best race of the flat calendar.
It's a great race. Yeah.
Talking about greatest races, just a quick one. While we wait for them to go down, we see Emily Upjohn going down tomorrow. In the Racing Post, you're going to have the greatest race revealed. We've all had our say on it here. There was a poll, wasn't there? You all voted. It's going to be revealed tomorrow. Sam Hart went to meet the winner of the race, let's put it that way, with Lee Mottershead. So that's something finally going to be revealed, the greatest race of all. And it's quite timely as well.
So it's not Mandarin then?
You can put a line through Mandarin's race. Yeah, bless. Connections, absolutely. But so that comes out tomorrow, something to look forward to. All right, Broome looks a picture, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's so cool, isn't he? He's such a dude of a horse.
A lot of money for Mishriff, Barry. A lot of money for Mishriff.
Yeah, Mishriff now 3.65. So well and truly clear second favourite. Emily Upjohn out to 4.3. Westover is 7 to 4 from 6 to 4 now. Torquato Tasso's out to 18, Broome out to 22. So the flood of money coming from Mishriff is making sure everything else drifts. So Mishriff, who had a pre-race high of 5.0, which is 4 to 1, is into 11 to 4.
Well, there you go. All right. So, she's been very, very weak. Emily Upjohn, of course, if you think at the start of the week she might go off fab, it's just all been one-way traffic for Mishriff, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
Small few quid for Pile Driver. When we spoke earlier on, he was 33 to 1. He's into 22.
Of course, he is a course and distance winner, and if you maybe believe he wasn't quite at his best at Epsom, pile driver.
Epsom just doesn't really suit him, does it? Really?
Well, I don't know.
Overly with that big stride that he has in down the Canberra. I think he does well, despite him not really acting at the.
Here's one from
course.
Dan the Man 12345, who comes on every now and then and says Westover will prove his class, and Mishriff is the best of the race, so he will finish second. That's how I see it. Little bit.
He's a little bit warm, isn't he? And a
warm,
little
isn't
bit
he?
warm, a little bit wound up, Westover.
He's wearing the hood to the start, and Colin's having to keep a good look at him. I wonder if that'll be borne out on the exchange. And in fact, he is just
a little bit.
Yeah, he's 2.8 now. 15 to 8 from 7 to 4. So yeah, he's very sweaty down the neck, and I don't know whether that's just would that just be from the reins kind of rubbing off his neck, but he does look a bit warm in the front there.
Yeah, that and the neck strap that he's got, it's just, rubbing there. But like I say, he has got warm down there. He doesn't look like he's overly agitated as such. I mean, it's not the warmest of days. If it was last weekend, I wouldn't be overly concerned. And under the saddlecloth there as well. Yeah, he has just got a bit warm down there. Hood's come off, though. Hopefully he'll just settle a bit better now he's down at the start.
The market is telling us something here. The market is telling us that Pile Driver will lead this race. I'm going to make that prediction now. The reason that Pile Driver is being heavily backed is because he is going to make the run in here.
You're strong on this, aren't you?
Yeah, this is one of my things. Is if I see loads of money,
you think it's people are backing it to lay it back in running?
Absolutely. I think people are backing Pile Driver with the intention of laying him back when he goes to the front, and the tactics here have got out to the market somehow or some way.
Which you think happens a lot.
I think it happens a lot because I see it a lot. I see almost as though people know what's going to lead, they back it, and then they're trying to get out of it in running.
And Broome is now the outsider of the lot. Okay.
Here we go.
This is going to be great.
big
Hold
one.
on to your hats. Enjoy, everyone, Barry. Absolutely. We're all on Westover then.
Go on, Westover.
He's a little bit keen. He's drawn on the outside as well, so Colin Keane is going to have to get him in early. But we think it will happen. Broome and Pile Driver. We hope good luck then wherever you're watching. And we know that lots of you out there are here on Racing Post Live. It's King George time, the final race of this Super Saturday. Look at this, and Pile Driver straight
What
to
a
the
surprise.
front.
What a
He's
surprise.
right out in front.
Having a piece.
Now, Colin Keane is very, very aware of this. He's not going to lead Colin Keane, is he? I'll tell you
he
what,
was ridden in
They're
second
not
at
going
the Curragh.
fast enough. He's happy enough to go on, is he?
this is absolutely
doing
fascinating
that,
because the favourite is just about now in front. That is a very interesting move here. Pile Driver set off
Making
the
his way
lead.
up the inner.
He's been the meat in the
Broome.
sandwich a bit because Broome's come up on the outside.
And now
I
Pile
don't
Driver's
know
got
what
Keane.
Colin's doing here, really, to be totally honest. He's
a bit
lit him up a
keen.
bit. Nothing.
He's just
keen.
making sure they're going on a scallop, isn't he?
Oh, I don't
Then
know, Barry.
Emily
This
Upjohn's
is
very keen
this
again,
is-
then in behind.
He's
too.
doing more than I thought he would do. And look at Mishriff right out the back, ridden to get the trip this year. Emily Upjohn keen in the middle, along with the Arc winner Torquato Tassa, and somehow Pile Driver has
He's
been.
trying to settle him in the front, Dave. He's trying to settle him.
He's not settling in front though, really,
I
is he?
think this is going to be a
It'll
story,
be
I
interesting,
think.
isn't it?
He doesn't want it to turn
Very
into a
interesting
sprint.
indeed. All right, so Barry,
let him go.
we're on
Let
the
him
far
go.
side. He's letting you
Anyone
roll
saw
on a bit.
this,
We
did
know
they?
he's the strongest stayer, Barry, but what does the market say about his chances?
He's still around the 7 to 4 mark, what he was when they jumped that time. Broome's coming up on his outside again. Is 24.4 Mishriff, 11 to 4 Emily Upjohn. She's having a sweet little passage.
If you're James Doyle, you're loving this because you think, right, beat yourselves up, guys. I'm
Yeah.
going to come on the outside with my
Mishriff.
sweeping Mishriff run. All
Right
right.
to 5 to 2 now, the favourite.
Well, Broome who's absolutely handled
Thanks,
it beautifully so far. He's again the Hardwick winner. He's going. I tell you what, I just think they've done a bit too much up front. This is fascinating.
You might be right, Dave.
Torquato Tassa then. He's poised, didn't he, in fourth. Pile Driver
Here we
in
go.
third. Emily Upjohn on the inside. How much of that early exuberance of Costa Philly? And Mishriff still waiting as they turn in. What will Colin Keane
Mishriff's your
produce?
favourite in running.
Not at all
Driver's
surprised
your
by
favourite
this.
in running.
Yeah, okay,
Pile
Westover
Driver.
then. What's he got? The two of them now
Fantastic.
locking arms. I think they've mugged themselves
Yeah, I
up
think
here, I'll
they've
tell
messed
you.
this up
I really do.
properly,
Westover's
yeah.
been run into the ground here. Loads will be talked about this ride afterwards. He's absolutely
Driver.
gone. All right then, the Arc winner on the
Pile
outside.
Driver,
Pile
lads.
Driver
Go,
now
Pile
steps
Driver.
on. Here comes Mishriff, bidding to go better
Look
than
at
one last year.
Torquato
Torquato Tassa, no problems about the ground whatsoever.
he'll
He's
keep
absolutely
staying, he'll keep
rocking.
staying, he'll keep
Emily
fighting.
Upjohn's run a stinker. Look at Pile Driver.
Driver.
Look at the little terrier. He's
Legend.
absolutely the rag to riches. And PJ McDonald, he looks like he's going to take it out. He did this, of course, in the St. Ledger, wandered all over the place. What a story! Willie Muir and Chris Grassick blown them away. Unbelievable scenes here on Racing Post Live. We are. PJ McDonald gets his big race in the sun. We were so good on Lawrence, wasn't he, all those years ago? We went into the wilderness a little bit. Willie Muir said in the week we want a jockey who's going to give us continuity. My goodness me, he's got it right. Barry, carnage, I'm assuming.
Yeah, the Ragged Field at 24. So a result for the books for sure, Dave. 1.44 Mishriff traded at a low of on the Betfair Exchange. We also saw Tocado Tasso trade at a low of 3.50, which is 5-2. Broome didn't trade that low at all in running. Westover was the same. Didn't trade low at all in running. Like you said, they blew their brains out up front, Westover and Broome. But great for PJ McDonald, and a small yard like that, fantastic to see. So good luck to them and well done.
He's had his problems, hasn't he? And you can sort of see it as he sort of runs around a little bit. He did it in the St Ledger, didn't he?
Yeah.
Veered away. A lot of people blame. And again, a word for Martin Dwyer was watching on the sidelines with his injury as well as regular pilot. That'll be some party tonight, and it's great for Willie Muir. We were lucky enough to speak to him in the studio.
And Chris Grassick.
Yeah.
And Chris Grassick, absolutely. I joke with Willie. It took you all these years to be second in Group 1s. Chris Grassick comes along, and thanks to this horse, you've now got 2. And he said, that's all I needed was a bit of young blood in the yard. But it's great to see. And so much will be, and we can see Willie now on the camera. This is magnificent, G, isn't it?
I don't believe what I've just seen. I don't believe what I've just seen. I must admit. Allstar I thought was short of Group 1 class, has just won the best King George in years by 6 lengths from another horse who I didn't think was very good.
Yeah, and again, he's run really well, Torquato Tasso, hasn't he?
I think there's some serious disappointments in behind, aren't there?
Well, let's talk
serious
about them.
disappointments in behind.
The story of the race is Westover going to the front, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't really do that on the round course at Ascot.
He never settled the yard, did he?
He
never
didn't.
settled.
That also has lost his race at the start and early on. What happened to Emilia Upjohn?
She was never going.
She was never
going.
Mishriff, well, yeah. I mean, there's just. I mean, the race.
Mishriff hasn't stayed, has he?
It's a hard race to summarise, right? Because yes, it's great for Piledriver and pleased for him, but I cannot believe that 3 or 4 horses are not disappointed there. I mean, the race has fallen apart, in my opinion.
But look, let's be positive about it, because they went the true pace, didn't they? And PJ McDonald, who went out to lead, has had to just go to plan B, if you like.
That was really interesting, wasn't it?
It is, and he's had to he just was the meat in the sandwich a little bit. Torquato Tasso's come there with every single chance. It looked like Mishriff was going to pick them up, as Barry said. I mean, Emily Upjohn's hardly lifted a leg, has she? We'll talk about her again in a second, because this was plan B. How many chances are we going to give her, though? Westover's just gone at this point. A lot going to be written about that, I think. Mishriff's come there with every chance, every single chance. He just hasn't stayed.
Doesn't see the mile 4 in this country. Even when he won a Shima Classic, it was a muddling pace. He just doesn't get the mile 4 as strongly as he does. I think he's a phenomenal horse over 10.
James Dawes looked after him, I think, in the final furlong as well, because it's all about the international for him. But look at Piledriver rocking running. He's beaten an ARC winner.
I'm so pleased for his connections as well, because his dam, I worked with his dam, La Pile. She, to this day, is still the scariest horse I've ever worked with in my life. A horrible thing.
Did the dam a Piledriver, Kate?
Pardon?
She was at Philip Hobbs's.
Yeah, she was at Philip Hobbs's. She had to ride out in eye shield. She was such a
It's funny
lunatic.
you should say that.
Horrible.
Because it's funny you should say that, because William Muir's just been interviewed there, and he says that he fights the lad who leads it up every day, goes into the box.
I'm not surprised. Honestly, it has to have come out in him somewhere along the way. But yeah, those horrible traits. Then you can understand then why he wasn't sold for, what was it, 10,000, something like that as a yearling. They kept on to him, the owners, and he's gone and won a King George.
Well, they wanted to go to the ARC last year. What we love about these connections is that they said we couldn't get a Saturday winner until Piledriver came along. The best we got was a front runner in the Fred Winter at Cheltenham, which fell out the back of the telly. So it's a great story. And they're not.
He's a 5-year-old and a full horse still.
Yeah.
He's interesting.
And you know what's going to happen. And they'll go to the ARC, Barry. I'm assuming we've seen a bit of a steamer in the market for that now.
Yeah, he's 16 from 66 for the ARC, Dave.
16?
Yeah, and Tocado Tasso, the runner-up, is 10 from 12.
See, you can't. He could easily make the frame in an ARC.
If he wins the ARC, I'll give up the game. I mean, Jesus. I mean, he's a great. You know, he's a lovely horse, and he's done well to win what he's won. But no, he's not an ARC winner, is he? I mean, fantastic, great, well done to connections, well done to the trainer. But it's an unsatisfactory race from my perspective. I think we've seen 3 or 4 horses very, very badly disappoint.
So listen,
and bring back Rob Hulby, eh?
Well, this is what it will be. It will be written about now. And of course, Torquato Tasso's put himself right on of course, for the defence of the Arc, hasn't he? The runner-up. That's all we've got time for then, amazingly, on Racing Post Live this afternoon. The numbers have been brilliant. Viewing figures out there, absolutely great. What fun we've had. The tempo's been amazing. Barry, not quite your day today, man, but we've had great fun.
I've never tipped a winner, Dave. I swear to God, I'm going to have to go and have a good talk to myself. I don't think I've ever been on Racing Post Live where I've come away empty-handed. So, yeah, back to the drawing board, and I'm going to sit in a dark room for the next couple of hours, and the dog's lucky he's not in the room. He'd be getting a nice pet.
Well,
I wouldn't touch the dog.
Barry, you've got 5 stabs at Glorious Goodwood coming up, starting on Tuesday. We'll see you back then, man.
Look forward to it, guys. Thanks for a great day.
Absolutely brilliant. Of course, we should, of course, level up Barry and say he's knocked out of the park for charity because he usually puts up so many winners. Kate, I think I'm the same, actually.
I actually?
I think you, by default, you sort of do it. We all saw the
From a 6-5 winner in the first.
I was chinned on Dubai on that.
Take it.
G-Rod, you're the same.
Yeah, I think we'll hang our head in shame, won't we, after this one?
Terrible day.
We all should just have, I mean, how good does that make Hookham look? But anyway,
Yeah.
look, it's been great to spend this afternoon with you. Glorious Goodwood comes up. Kate, you're back with me for the back end of that.
Yeah, I can't remember which dates, but yes, I am.
Friday, Saturday, please. G, you're doing the first legs for us.
Yeah, I'll
It's
be
like a
in
relay.
on Tuesday and Wednesday. Yeah,
And then you
looking
pass
forward
the
to
baton
it.
on.
You're not here, which is a bonus, isn't it?
I will be replacing the first couple of
the
days.
glamorous
absolutely.
Natalie Green in your seat.
You've got a top team coming in, though. It was great to have you with us. Thanks to the guys, Sam and Dave in the studio, Jack doing the socials as well, all the team at Betfair. Who's ready for Goodwood? Pile driver then. Who piled in to the absolute worldie that is?